No worries.
One of my friends is watching the stream and
Okay.
just sent me the message. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
there
Never
we
mind
go.
then. Never mind.
Where were we?
Not a stream until tech issues. But
It looks like we're live.
yeah, looks like we're live.
Yeah, we're live.
Mm-hmm. No worries.
Oh, I was muted when I told you we were live.
Oh. Okay. Well, as you four enter this establishment, you see that there are two women at the bar. One is a fairly young woman in very cutting, deep blue clothing with ash blonde hair pulled up from her face. And she is discussing something with the bartender. And next to her is another woman who is very ethereally stunning and has ginger hair. This would be you, Triss, wearing blue clothing, and she seems to be waiting kind of impatiently to be talking to the person behind the bar. Beyond that, the man behind the bar is middle-aged, and the just outside where the double doors are opened out onto a lovely sort of scenic view of the river that flows past and the woods beyond is a table with two men sat down and a dog at their feet. What would you like to do?
Triss would definitely order another drink
Okay.
when the guy finally pays attention to her. She looks extremely irritated, which is not safe for anybody in her immediate vicinity. And she's been there for a while, and you can tell she's like tapping her foot and staring at the door.
Yeah. And that irritation kind of increases when the bartender, upon finally noticing you after discussing something with this other woman, puts a glass of wine in front of you, and you recognize it pretty much by like its sweet smell and the taste to be White Wolf, which is Corvo Bianco's own wine.
That's mine.
Mm-hmm. So, what would you four like to do? You're currently just walking in.
I will, if I see Triss, I will take my parasol down and just kind of tap Serwin in the chest, like, look over there. Sorceress. Must be in the right place then.
Let's just hope we don't get into any trouble.
Trouble's interesting. You worry too much. Why don't we get something to drink? It's been a long day and it's been out in the sun.
Well, hopefully the drinks here are better than the last place we were at. Anyway, bartender.
Yeah. This man, the bartender, looks over at you and gives you a smile on his very kind-looking face. And he asks you he asks you what would you let me try and get my French accent here. Our tech holder isn't muted. There we go. But he leans over the bar top to you and asks you what you would like. And next to him are these two women.
I believe Donatel is ordering for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying, right, Don?
I suppose I can put it on, the old Don's tab.
I'll
Yeah,
give you
the
coin.
drink.
I'll give you coin. Don't worry. Just something good this time.
Perfect. And then he's gonna slick back his greasy, it's almost skullet hair, slicks it back, and he reaches into a coin purse. And I don't. How much is it gonna be?
It depends what you want to drink. There's a variety of beer, spirits, and of course, well, it wouldn't be Tucson without wine.
Well, the Don's gonna get wine because it's Tucson, right?
Yeah, fair.
So
Yeah, there's a variety. There are whites, reds, even a rosé.
For those who want to get fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Don will kind of turn around and ask for everyone what they're drinking and have them receive said drink.
I'll go for something local.
And upon noticing a witcher, he frowns this man behind the bar and says, "Would you happen to be here for the, well, you know?" And you do know about the local rumors of this beast of Beauclair.
The beast.
Mm-hmm.
We
And
are here for it indeed.
he taps next to him this post at the end of the bar, and nailed to it is a notice. There we go, of a contract, which reads: "Witcher stroke witchers needed. The beast has returned to Tucson. Sir or sirs, we live in fear. The beast of Beauclair prowls amongst us once more. 2 knights errant have been slaughtered by it, and many among us are uncounted for. We fear that they have met the same terrible fate. Our Duchess does not answer our calls, and we are desperate indeed." And it says, by chance, speaks of Crespin, the innkeeper here at the Silver Salamander Inn, for details. There is also a note scrawled at the bottom that says, "Witches only," underlined 5 times, followed by, "I wasn't born yesterday. I know what a witcher looks like. Imposterous fools need not bother waste my time."
One quick question out of character for the GM.
Mhm.
Triss would know who the Beast of Beauclair was, but that is a big spoiler. And am I allowed to say that in character on the stream?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
It had
something
enough
Triss
time.
would know.
Spoiler alert for chat.
Yep. But yeah, you have been told by Geralt and by Regis, who sometimes drops by. You kind of have connected the dots on who is who and what
I
happened.
love one hooch drinking vampire boy.
Yeah, we love him. He says, "So then, you will be tracking this beast, huh?"
For the right coin, yes. I see your notice doesn't mention anything about a reward.
Indeed. Well, you see, the pay is, how you say, 220 crowns for the beast.
Triss snorts because she hears it. She hears this.
He says, "Unfortunately, it is all we can give. The Duchess does not answer our calls."
220.
From the other side of the bar, I bet she doesn't.
Perhaps we should pay this Duchess a visit ourselves. 220 doesn't sound like enough for my trouble or my compatriots' trouble here.
I don't think that would be a good idea.
Well,
She's-
you'd be hard stretched trying to get anything out of the Duchess. She does not leave the castle very often since her sister's death.
Well, on the bright side, maybe the Academy might pay a good deal of coin for remains.
You bring up a good point.
Would like to get a chance to get a good look at the beast, considering what I think it was.
At that, Triss would actually turn on her chair because she heard Academy, and just stare at Lucinda.
Yes?
And what exactly did you think it was?
Judging by the rumors, and I hate to go by rumors, it was some sort of vampire.
Mm.
Judging by the looks that people give me, I think I've won. But beside the point.
No. I think that this one might be a little above your pay grade.
Oh, certainly, I'm not here to stop it. That's for other people. I'm here to study and write about it.
For the Academy.
No, for myself. I haven't been to the Academy in years.
And she'll turn to look at Severin. How many hunts have you done, Witcher?
Quite a few in my time.
Mm. Do you think you're up to this one?
Well, I had heard rumors that Toussaint had its own resident witcher, but seems like he didn't take the job, so someone has to come clean up.
Triss, if Triss was a cat, like all the hair on her back would be standing up right about now.
Mhm.
I can assure you that the resident witcher has dealt with this at least once before. I don't think we're dealing with the same beast.
Hmm.
You travel in interesting company, Witcher.
These are my friends and compatriots.
Indeed. You need that much help for a hunt?
Sometimes, yes, I know my limits. I also know that surrounding oneself with other people keeps you grounded in reality.
Well, you've got that part right, at least. And she would kind of lean back and survey them all.
I didn't catch your name, miss.
And she just stares.
And this man, Crispin, behind the bar, clears his throat, sensing this awkward tension between you two, and says, well, yes. Well, the beast has already killed 2 knights errant, and I see that a ducal guard is amongst you. Perhaps the Duchess has bothered to answer?
And Colton, who has been drinking water this entire time, sort of perks up from where he sort of sat down at a table and says, the Duchess is grieving mostly, but we wander where we can with the news that we're able.
The man shakes his head, Crispin, and just says, the Duchess is useless, is what she is. She's been grieving for what? Over a year now?
Damn, look, I don't care for the laws and regulations the Duchess has placed, but don't you think that's a bit, I don't know, harsh for someone grieving the loss of her sister?
Well, she's supposed to be ruling the duchy.
Fair point. He turns to Colton. Think we should go knocking on a door?
I don't think that's... Well, for one, we'd have to travel a bit of a ways, and 2, probably will get us nowhere.
Damn shame. Well,
It seems that of late the Duchess is leaving many of her decisions up to Captain de la Tour.
I try not to speculate on things. I go where I am supposed to show up.
Oh, I don't speculate.
What do you do in your free time?
Unfortunately, Captain de la Tour is not at home to asking for outside help or admitting that he needs it. I don't think you'll actually hear from the Duchess.
Crispin nods and says, "The lady is right."
That's why I travel with a Witcher. I don't
Let's
have
hope
that
he
same function.
let's hope he proves your name, Severin. Let's hope you prove more useful than the last one.
And Triss will turn and just fix the bartender with a glare.
Oh, what happened to the last one?
Well, he let the beast escape. It killed the Duchess's sister, and then, he had the audacity to come back and tell the Duchess that it was his fault, being inadequate as he was, and got himself banned from Beauclair. He is not welcome there.
Mm. Seems
You
like
know,
this-
friend, and she leans forward on the bar. I don't think I caught the bartender's name. Did you get
Crispin.
it? Crispin? You seem to have an awful lot of Corvo Bianco wine barrels back there. Seems to be a pretty popular beverage for your clientele.
Yes.
It would be really awful if you lost that contract, wouldn't it? Then again, it would be really hard to have a contract if this sadly entirely made out of wood building were to catch fire.
And
Cool.
yeah, he knows he's got a vibe that you're a sorceress. And he immediately backs down and he says, "I did not mean to upset
And she'll
the
lean
lady.
forward. She goes, "Do you know who I am? Do you have any idea who I am?"
I never caught your name."
My name is Triss Marigold.
Colton just like
The Don's just like chuckling and nodding approvingly of the casual arson that might take place.
Just smiles.
Crispin kind of immediately backs down and says, "You will be wanting to talk to that lady over there." And he points at the woman who's been sat next to you, drinking her wine. And the whole time she's like really sulky about something. Something's genuinely upset her.
Everybody's faces turn to the lady.
We turn to the lady,
Mhm.
and
So, why the long face?
And she says, "Well, I think anyone would have a long face if they had two dismembered knights errant in their basement."
Well, can we go take a look at them? I like to see a cut up do-gooder any day of the week. It brings me a little joy.
She frowns, and you can see she's kind of a bit of a highborn lady, and she's a bit disgusted by what you've
Don
just said.
doesn't care.
Yeah, Don doesn't care, but yeah, she looks disgusted. And she looks to everyone at the bar now and says, "Are these your friends?"
Yeah, I keep good company. Sorceresses who commit casual arson, witches, gods, you name it, anything under the sun. I keep them in my
Excuse me,
company.
you keep my company?
Well, doctors. Well, look, I'm trying to make the sell here.
She says, "Well, the last witcher who came to take a look at them did not come back, has not done anything about the beast."
Well, that witcher wasn't Severin, though, and didn't have the company of Lucinda and Colton and, Donna.
Triss stands up. Do you know who the last witcher was? Is?
Look, I just got here. I have no idea.
And she'll turn and look at Severin. Do you know who the last witcher is?
Apparently someone who let the beast go free.
Geralt of Rivia might be correct, right?
Yes.
The woman says, "Well, I don't know about his name, but thank you for telling me. But all I knew really was he was strange, very blunt, a rude man, and he had, pardon me, but he had a very strange horse. It looked at you like it knew what you were saying.
She does know what you're saying.
Well, she says, but you are welcome, I suppose, to look at the bodies.
All right, Doctor, let's get you a quick coroner's license and let's get down there.
Oh, I don't need one.
Your Geralt of Orevia did not bother to tell me what kind of beast killed them, but perhaps you can glean something from them. Kelly, the Triss's eye roll.
And where are said bodies?
And that she pulls a very like upset face and says, "At my own vineyard. It seems the locals think that anyone with a cellar should have it turned into a morgue."
That checks out.
And how long?
And
have
which
they-
vineyard is that?
She says, "It is Le Chat Noir, my vineyard." And she says, "Come, it is but a short walk."
Ah, how long have you had these corpses in your basement?
Too long.
How long
A
is
day.
too long? Day. Good. Should be able to glean something from there then. Shall
I
we?
hope so. And yeah, so she gets up, more than happy to take you to her vineyard if you wish to go.
I form in a line with everyone. Let's go.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're taking down this kind of easterly lane, kind of off the main road, where the Salamander Inn sits, and walk down the sloping levels of a vineyard. There's a large sprawl of, very well maintained vines. Workers are out there tilling, pruning, etc. There is an apple orchard that you walk past, and you see the large vats for producing, like mashing grapes and cider pressing. And she leads you to a slight slope where at the top is a very large chateau with whitewashed walls, crawling ivy, red tiles, and a herb garden sort of at the front of it. It's all very quaint and nice. Unfortunately, however, there are a lot of cats. And as you walk past, Simon, Severin, you notice all these cats kind of scatter and hiss at you, their backs fluffed up and their tails up in the air. And yeah, they try and scarper away from you as fast as possible. And this woman, she looks at you and she says, "They did that to the last Witcher as well."
Well, cats are very peculiar creatures.
As are Witchers, I have found.
Hey, watch what you say about my Witcher here. Watch what you say about my boy.
And
you,
she
Don.
says, "I will say whatever I wish. The last Witcher I met, your Geralt, was very rude."
Yeah, well, you haven't met Severin. I think you should give him the benefit of the doubt.
From way behind the group, where she has followed them, you hear Triss mutter something about, well, he's not rude to people who aren't rude to him first.
And this woman seems to turn around at that, but she elects to ignore what you say, Triss.
Triss is also inspecting the grapes and declaring that they are subpar.
I'm trying to pet the cats that are running away because that's just me bleeding through. That's some IRL bleed through.
You try, but with how close you are to this Witcher, they kind of just don't want anything to do with you. Don't want anything to do with this Witcher either.
I have to get this off my chest now, out of character, before it ends up blurting out at a dramatic moment. I think that Donatelle is from the Brooklyn borough of the continent.
I don't have a lot of accents, okay?
This is how the Don talks. He's from a very far away
All I
place.
can hear is Dom DeLuise playing Marlon Brando when he was spoofing the Godfather.
No, pretty much.
Which is fine because that's amazing. Anyway, let's carry on because this is obviously a very serious game.
Yeah, this is a serious dark fantasy world.
Yeah, wait till Doug shows up with a panda hat.
Hey, I'm here for it. I'm gonna drop back to Lucinda and Colton out of earshot from this rude lady.
I don't like this lady. I think she's kind of rude.
Was he talking about Triss or the wine lady?
Wine lady.
Okay.
He approves of Triss's threats of casual arson. That's the approval.
Severin will just whisper to the group, I do believe we're in the presence of one rare creature. I think this lady belongs to a species of monsters called the Karens.
But she already is the manager.
Oh no.
Oh no.
God. She's the most
The
powerful
super
Karen.
the higher Karen.
It's a higher Karen.
The higher Karen. The haircut has become even more undercut.
Can't kill it no matter what.
The gel spikes can actually shoot out and kill people. Who let me have 3 cups of coffee?
We just have
That's
to.
life.
Yeah. She gestures to these sort of double doors that like raise from the ground that clearly lead down into a cellar. And she says, they're in there if you wish to look at them. Tef should be there, the local coroner. She should be able to help.
No offense, but I trust Lucinda's medical opinions and expertise over any of what the locals have to provide. I'm sure you can understand. I like to work with my own people here.
She just says, then go and work. And she just leaves and goes in her house.
When she goes in, Don's just flipping her off.
Entirely understandable and somehow condescending. And Colton goes downstairs.
Obviously, that's how this works. She's had corpses in her basement for a day.
Yeah. So you're all going to look at the corpses then. Okay. As you go down, the cellar is immediately way cooler than the outside. And Severin, you can already smell with your Witcher senses, even from outside the doors, as you go down, before you go down, the sort of sweetness of decay, and the strong scent of wines. And as you go down, there is another smell that kind of mingles in with all of this. The smell of juniper, aniseed, and cinnamon. And with all these very strange smells going on, you actually realize that it's you smelling the coroner before you even see her. And a woman, an elven woman, with dark brown skin, and her black hair is pulled up from her face. And she is wearing, this sort of leather apron of a coroner. And her right leg is encased in a brace made from metal poles and straps, so that she can't bend her knee. And she is walking with a cane in her left hand. And she pulls up with one hand the glasses, the magnifying glasses that are on her face, and immediately her eyes, go back to sort of normal size. They were kind of blown out and huge with these big lenses on. And she says, I did not expect to see, well, 5 people.
Well, we're here to inspect the bodies.
Well,
There's been some thought that this might have something to do with the beast, and we're here to investigate that. As clearly you've already taken a look at it. What do you think?
Well, I am Tef. It is nice to meet you all, but I am only a coroner. I do not deal in things like these, and well, the and you see, like, next to her on these 2 tables are sort of sheets that are over like lumps, rather, and they're not human in shape. They're just kind of all lumps, like a little mound. And she says, I would brace yourselves before looking at it. It is not a pretty scene.
Never it is it?
Mm. And she rolls the sheets back and says, all I could glean was this monster clearly enjoyed playing with its food. And what is revealed are pretty much chopped up human remains. There are even legs missing. There's an arm missing. One of the heads is missing. She says, I do not even know if I have got the right parts to the right people. And yeah, she just looks disgusted. And that says a lot for a coroner to look disgusted.
Triss would walk around the front of the tables, like the head of the table, and kind of not squat, but kind of lean down a little bit so she can inspect the necks of both the one without a head and the one with a head. And she's like, hey, Tef, were you able to find out if exsanguination occurred from the dismemberment, or was there an injury beforehand?
She gestures to one of the tables where there seems to be a kind of semi-intact torso, and says, I believe this was the cause of all the exsanguination. And she points at a hole that has been punctured through solid armor, through chainmail underneath, and into the body. There is a huge sort of hole where something pushed its hand in and pulled it out.
Can I borrow your lenses?
She says, yeah, sure. And she passes you these magnifying lenses.
Triss puts them on and gets what many people would feel is uncomfortably close to the corpse, and kind of looks around and stands up and gestures Lucinda over.
Yeah, she'll take off her hat and her spectacles and just kind of also getting close. It's not necessarily phased her how she's like very interested in it.
Do you have any of your tools with you? Any of your probes?
Oh yes, right here. She takes out her bag and just kind of puts it on the table and looks through it.
Okay, so Triss will unroll it, and as we're investigating it, do we notice any signs around the outside of the wound that there was a blade involved, or that it's just a straight punch through?
It is too ragged to be a blade. This is something that went through like blunt force, straight through. Very powerful, like swing from an appendage that ended in claws.
Tef, was the missing piece found?
No, but she also takes out a probe of her own and sort of moves it in this sort of hole to show you that amongst this, absolute destruction of someone's insides, she says, the liver is missing.
Liver. It looks like there's extensive damage, and she'll pass the magnifying lenses over to Lucinda so that Lucinda can have a close look.
She'll kind of just just touch the body and kind of like look it over and just say, in what matter were the remains found?
They were kind of thrown about, but this was done after death.
So I want to make a point. I'm just gonna like just start examining the hole and this torso.
I don't see any bite marks or indications that it was actually eating, other than maybe some scavenging marks from local wildlife, I would assume.
Yeah, and in fact, Severin, you notice that there are even like a few bits and pieces you can assume that are missing from these bodies were most likely taken away by scurvers or necrophages, sort of dragged off. I mean, it's next to a river, you can kind of assume a drowner probably.
Neckers, all kinds of fun things. So what I'll tell you, Lucinda, is that she's whispering to Lucinda because she doesn't want the rest of them to hear this. The original Beast of Beauclair was a higher vampire, but he never consumed his victims. And most of the dismemberment was done by the environment, not by Detloff.
So it was one of
but
those.
The hole in the chest, that was kind of his thing.
Yes, the claws.
Mm.
I think you are correct. This is more likely a point than anything. This is wanted to be found.
Well, in my experience, sometimes people become inspired by famous, let's just say, killers. Perhaps they're trying to recreate what the Beast of Beauclair did before to throw us off the scent.
Yeah, Tef, as you were discussing this, talks to Colton and Severin, indicates, she's pointing at marks and cuts through the body and says, it appears to be claws. I have not seen blade wounds like this before.
Yes, but claws can be easily facsimiles.
Well,
you need a very blunt blade and a lot of time.
Yeah, I think that's what Lucinda's looking like, just kind of turning over each of the remains to see if this has the hallmarks of something natural, like natural claws, or someone trying to kind of mimic that.
And also Triss would be looking at the joints to see if they have been pulled apart, torn apart, or if they have become naturally dislocated due to decay and such.
Yeah. The bodies kind of appear to have been torn apart. Like with hands, there is, even with a blade, like a door blade, you would expect to see, like scrape marks against bone, things like that, sort of cutting in. But it's completely like broken through, like the bone has like shattered in some places, and some of them have got completely clean cuts through, like on one swing. And Severin, you can roll me a Witcher training.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if like any other type of lesser vampires could have done the same thing.
Oh shoot, I should get dice out.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah. You could roll a Witcher training for this.
All right. So I got a plus 13 with a 4. That's a 17.
There are lesser vampires that could do this, catechans, and such, but there's also like a few other indications you could think of. You could think catecan, an ekamara, a fleda. You could even think with some of these marks, and especially with the liver missing in particular in both of these bodies. You could think of a werewolf that happens, or even particularly like a Brookster or even a particularly very fussy hag. Like sometimes they are just very particular.
Okay, question for the GM, for the lore master. That whole event when like all the vampires were unleashed upon, was it Beauclair that they were unleashed upon?
Yeah.
It's been forever since I played the game.
No worries.
Is that a well-known thing, or did they like keep that hush hush? Okay,
There was no way to keep that hush hush.
That was
a bunch of vampires went boom.
that
and everyone
was-
went,
They were
"Oh, no."
ripping people
well
apart
known,
in the
yeah.
in the
That's
streets.
what I thought. It's just sorry. I apologize. I'm a huge fan, and I look really bad for being a huge Witcher fan
Don't
right
worry.
now.
You're not bad. I mean, there's a
worry.
lot of lore in these games.
Yeah,
Like,
and then after the
seriously.
TV show, it's like
Yeah.
all just bleed over into each
was-
other.
It was very, very, very much a noticeable event. It's still very recent in a lot of people's memories, and it's what a large part, in fact, as to like why people have banned Geralt from entering Beauclair since, because they blame him for it.
Because people are stupid.
So so the Don's just kind of looking around.
Are we in agreement? It might be a type of vampire. Who knows? Maybe one was.
It's not conclusive. There's a lot of things that could do this. We don't know whether or not it could
And
be.
some of these joints are disarticulated like with force, and some of them are cut clean through. And I can tell you a vampire doesn't cut clean through. But I'll amend your statement slightly, small person with a pipe whose name Triss didn't actually catch.
Small scuzzy dude.
I will amend this statement to someone wants us to think it was a vampire that did this.
It's an old patch-up job. Now I'm smelling what you're stepping in.
Pretty much everybody knows what happened in Beauclair. And I've been around for a very long time. Humans have a way of being fascinated by things like this.
I can agree with that. People do like a good gruesome death once in a while. Becomes talk of the village everywhere.
And I've also found that it's much easier for people to blame monsters than to realize that it's one of them.
Yes, well,
Yes.
it's certainly working with all this talk of the beast being back.
Now we'd have to think who stands to benefit from spreading these rumors.
Oh, anybody that doesn't like the rulership here could use that.
It's a lot of people.
Colton does bring up a good point. That could be anybody.
Tef, do you happen to know who these knights were?
No, I do not. All I've been told is they are members of the Knights Errant. And, well, I could not really find much to identify them with. Even, and she gestures to another table where there's like what appeared at first to be scrap metal, but it actually seems like completely like crushed down and compacted shields, pieces of armor from these bodies, and broken like swords, completely like fractured.
Is there a hilt piece in any of there that I can sort of take a look and see if I recognize it?
Yeah, sure. There is one. It's kind of bent out of shape,
Sure.
where it's been struck against something, but you do recognize it has an insignia on it of not a name, but of a faction of the Knights Errant that Damien de la Tour hangs around with quite a lot.
Well,
Is it too much to hope that one of these is Damien? Sorry, I really don't like Damien.
You don't recognize any of the armor to be Damien's. Triss, you've met the man, you don't like him, and yeah, none of it is his. And Colton, you would recognize it either.
yeah. Well, you are right about one thing. The man does have pride. I think evidently these were sent here to deal with whatever the problem was, and not, unfortunately, quite up to the task.
She says,
If
no, continue, Severin.
I was going to say, if we're dealing with a copycat killer, and I look at the shields and the scrunched up armors and broken swords,
Mhm.
this human is rather very strong.
Lucinda's just going to wander to the just kind of take the gloves off and then just handle the shield. She wants to just look if she can kind of glean anything, if this is something that with the help of a machine or something like that. She wants to know if it's maybe like human done instead of monster.
You could let's see what kind of check. I would say you could go with deduction on that.
Okay, that's int and the deduction, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that is for 23.
If it were a machine, you would think, as it's been pressed down, that there is that it would be kind of flat, like and smooth. But instead, these are like kind of erratic, and you can kind of make out the shape of like where a fist has slammed in and dented, like an imprint of a clenched fist.
Ooh.
And it's huge. It's like 2 times the size of your own hand.
We're already ruling out a few of the lesser vampires with this.
That is quite a amount of force here. Look at that. I'll just kind of like point out the fist.
Well, Severin, you've encountered smart monsters before. Not all monsters are, dumb in the head, correct?
Some can be organized. What are you hinting at?
Well, perhaps it is still a monster and our culprit isn't necessarily a human.
Or it could be more than one person or monster. It would explain why there's multiple types of damage.
Yes. I mean, we're not entirely sure that this was done in one place. This could have been done separately and just brought here.
Tef, was there a lot of blood on the ground when they were found?
Yes, the ground was
So it was
soaked
there.
with it.
How far is this place where you found them?
It is by the Silver Salamander Inn, the bridge that crosses over the river next to it. About 5 minutes walking down the path, straight in.
Good.
I think that's where we should head next.
I'd like to take a look at it. I think we've got enough from the bodies.
One last thing I would want to check. If Triss looks at the bodies, obviously they're kind of a mess already, but if she moves the armor aside slightly, what's left of it, is there any livor mortis to show which position the body settled in after their death?
One is kind of slightly more intact than the other body. They kind of just have been like slumped against something. Perhaps
So you
a
can't really,
tree
the
or-
blood hasn't set, the blood that was left wasn't settled in any
No.
particular part of the body. Okay.
No. But
I agree. I think we should actually see the site they were found, Lucinda.
Well, at least we know the bodies won't be going anyplace, hopefully. So if we need to go back, we can come here. Should check before anything disturbs the grounds even further and makes it even harder to find anything.
Maybe we should let the Witcher lead the way. He should be able to track it.
Could probably smell them out, yes.
Oh, do lead on. I'd love to watch you work.
yeah. Okay. Tev says, well, if anything more comes of it, I will send a messenger your way.
Oh,
But,
thank you.
Thank you.
The best of luck, especially to you, Witcher.
I do apologize. One moment out of character, I have received a text message for one more thing for Triss to check in character, which I am doing because I love my father who is text messaging me. I would like to check any marks on the bones for teeth and claws.
Okay,
Perf
yeah.
marks.
There are marks of teeth on some of the bones, and there are claw marks, but specifically where like claws have gone through in like one clean cut.
Mhm.
Like there are places where like the bone is kind of cut into like 4 pieces where 4 claws have gone through.
And are there any clean cuts where you could tell it was a blade rather than a claw?
No.
Okay.
That seems
Because
to
it
be
would be a very different.
Yeah.
It would be a very different
Yeah.
look.
It
Okay.
seems basically like where the claws have gone through, like so strong that like it's caused crack and chip on the bone. So it's not as clean as a blade would be.
Okay, perfect. Hashtag thanks, Dad.
Ellie's dad is Vesemir, confirmed.
Honestly, perfect.
Oh, that's really good. Okay. Yeah, Tev wishes you the best of luck, Severin in particular.
Well, looks like I get to be a hound for a few minutes.
We will do a quick transition now. So it takes you about 10 minutes to get to this, the scene of the attack. And already it's very clear that there was a fight here. At least the knights managed to put up a fight. In the mud itself, very glaringly obvious, there are pieces like shards of steel and even plate armor sort of like broken and fallen in the mud. And the mud itself is not caused by like water or anything. It's very murky and sticky, and it's kind of sour smelling with blood.
Are there any like footprints in the mud, distinct tracks of where, especially I'm assuming, a creature that is able to punch through a shield? It probably weighs much more than a knight in armor. So Severin would start by looking at the tracks and depressions in the ground.
Yeah. Some of them are kind of like smoothed over or have been cut through by the wagon wheels of the cart that clearly came to pick up these bodies, and feet footprints that are small and humanoid, and have clearly like gone over to like patches where you can see that a body lay. So like this must have been the coroner picking them up. But you do see that one of these trees in the sort of surrounding framing either side of the road, one of the trees is almost splintered. Like something was thrown into it with really great force, and the bark and the trunk completely shattered, like they've bent back, and there is wood sort of scattered across the ground. There is also a very long drag mark. One of these bodies was dragged across the ground. But this happened, you think, when the person was still alive, because you can see very distinct 4 impressions either side. So 8 impressions of like hands trying to clutch at the ground to stop being dragged.
And that ends in where one of the bodies was ripped apart.
And there is also what remains of the horses. And when I say remains, there is pretty much nothing left but bloodied pulp and pieces of bone. The only indication you got that these were even horses was little pieces of saddle, like that you managed to like find in the remains, along with shattered what are they called? Shattered horseshoes, like they're bent out of shape, where something clearly it's almost like something great force kind of just slammed them into the ground and like smeared them. That's kind of what's been left.
Triss would be very quietly and quickly, her sarcasm has dropped, and she is going to be looking around the edge of the clearing for any indication that there was a 4th person here, i.e. the 2 dead people and the killer, and then a 4th person.
I will say that these are very fresh track marks, and you only notice them, Triss, and so do you, Severin, because you, Severin, have the training to walk like this, and Triss, you recognize this style of walking where it goes from heel sort of around the edge of the foot to then go walk through the balls, so that the footprints are feet, like the way the person walks is pretty much silent. And you would recognize this as a witch's walk. And it goes from one body, like one area where the body was, it goes straight across to where the other body was, it goes across to the horses. And then you also see hoof prints that go further on into the woods that don't belong to either of these two horses.
Kneeling down, would I also notice the way the Witcher footprints are, one of them is slightly deeper than the other one, I'm assuming?
Yeah, the left footprint is just slightly a little more depressed. It doesn't go all the way out to the outside of the foot. It kind of rolls in a little bit. It's the walk of someone who has a very slight limp.
Triss takes off, half walking, half running, following the tracks and the horse footprints as fast as she can to see how far she can follow them.
Okay. The rest of you, you taking in this very horrible scene, and suddenly Triss just stands up and very determined just follows, just runs off into the woods, basically.
Ooh, I think Lucinda follows as best she can. Like, she's small and doesn't necessarily move very fast. She's with her parasol, going to try and just keep up as best she can. Because
Colton's not
she obviously
good at
knows
investigating
something.
things, but if someone's going to wander off, like, well, he's going to follow.
Yeah, the Don's gonna follow, but also trying to make sure, like, once in a while looking behind, make sure nothing's like trying to ambush us in the forest, being the paranoid individual he is, because that's like also like my professional skills called practice paranoia, so I'm kind of leaning into that too.
Yeah.
Sure, honestly.
Yeah, you could definitely do a roll for that if you wanted to be sure that anything was following you.
Sure. Do you want me to use my practice paranoia skill or an awareness
practice paranoia
check? Sure. And that is my intelligence modifier plus my skill level on it, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Just want to make sure I'm doing this right. Ooh, dang. 19.
Nice. Yeah, you're pretty sure nothing's following you, but the woods do just feel very eerily strange. Possibly from the fact that that this massacre, the scene of this massacre, is still here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my hand on a battle axe ready and some throwing knives at the ready.
Yeah, fair enough. Triss, as you sort of rush off further into the woods, you can hear everyone in the group kind of like turn to each other and then like immediately set off after you. You can hear them behind you, but you're very determined, to keep going. And suddenly, as you're following these hoof prints, it's now early evening. The sun is just beginning to set, and you would know, Triss, as well as you, Severin, that tonight is a full moon.
I am. Oh, sorry. I had a question for you. As we're following these tracks, are these the hoof prints? Are there like 4 of them or only 2? Are we talking about a bipedal creature or a horse?
With the gait that it has, it's a quadruped. So
Okay.
yeah, you're pretty sure it's a horse. And yeah, as you're going further in, Triss, suddenly you feel like this very sort of prickling sensation, like directly in front of you. And you know this to be magic. It kind of tingles against your palm as you sort of hold it out to sense this, and it's almost like not a barrier exactly, but like kind of like a wall, like a layer of magic right in front of you, and these hoof prints and these footprints continue on past this barrier.
So I know what I want to do, but it would involve me having stolen something of Geralt's.
Depends. Would this be the
Eye of Nehelani? Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're a bit obsessed with The Witcher. But yeah, I would say you have this. Geralt would trust you with it. And in fact, you probably got more use out of it than him lately. Yeah,
I mean, let's be honest, he doesn't really know how it works anyway.
All he knows
All he does is
like
mutter at
magic
walls.
wave and
Yes.
yeah. Open sesame.
So she would rummage in her belt and pull out this small glowing stone and kind of pass it over the barrier.
Yeah. It doesn't do anything. There's nothing revealed. And it kind of just really just sort of trembles in your hand. So like you can sense that this is indeed magic, because of how it reacts, but it's not an illusion of any sort. And Severin, as you catch up, the rest of you catch up, your medallion begins just shifting slightly, scuffing against your armor.
Be on guard, everyone. There's magic around.
Yeah, Lucinda's just like winded, like just. Triss, did you find it? What you ran off?
Can I push my hand through the barrier? Yeah. Does it give?
Yeah, you push through, and it's kind of like going through jelly almost. Like it's very sort of like goopy, and it sticks to your skin as you push through. And suddenly, like deep down in your bones, you feel really fatigued. Not enough to fall asleep, but just very sort of for a moment dizzy. And you push through, and you lose 10 points of stamina.
Well, I didn't say I went through. I said, could I try?
Even pushing your arm through.
Oh, who didn't make this PDF editable? Crap. Okay. Yeah. I'll just keep a running tally.
Yeah.
Okay. So she would pull her hand back and say, well, that's a bad idea.
What happened? You put your hand, something.
That's very strong magic.
Are you all right? You seem.
I'm fine. But clearly they went through this.
You even notice, like you're staring down at the ground, that where the horse and these footprints went through, you even notice that like there's a slight stagger, like almost the person fell to one side, as did the horse, before getting upright again and continuing walking.
He's an idiot.
So you think Geralt went from the battlefield, went through the field.
He's tracking something through here.
And
but this
was here before he.
I think. I guess I would walk the line to see if there's any way around it.
Yeah, you can do that. And as you're doing that, assessing it, anyone else in the group, is there anything you'd like to do or ask? Or
does this barrier extend past this opening?
Yeah, it extends past this path. Like it continues on. You can see Triss sort of walking along with her hand near it.
Can you see where it ends? Or does it end, I suppose?
It's not visible. Like it's just like a really strong sensation.
Okay. Colton asks Triss because he can't see the difference.
Can I kind of figure, like, kind of suss out some sort of what the ties between the scene, this magic, and Geralt? Like, I want to kind of figure out what the situation is. Like, if it's, because I think she's starting to think it's not as much. This is collateral, and this is a trap for Geralt.
You aren't entirely sure really what to make of it. You could roll a deduction again.
Sure.
If you wanted to.
Okay. 27.
Okay. You sense that perhaps this barrier is supposed to contain something, and it didn't. Or, like you said, it could easily be a trap for somebody who is less than pleased with a certain witcher.
Hmm.
I'm starting to think this is maybe a side effect of what was supposed to happen. Seems like someone wanted your friend to go in here. Some sort of trap.
Can I like pick up a rock and just try and throw it through the barrier, see what happens?
Yeah, you can throw a rock through, nothing happens. It kind of
Oh.
slows down slightly as it passes through this invisible barrier, though, and sort of falls shorter than it would have.
Is there anything either of you can do to...
Triss would like to stop where she is, go back to where everyone else is standing, and try to cast a spell.
Yeah, sure thing.
Lucina takes
Because
out a
Kelly
book.
forgot that she actually has magic.
Lucina takes out
Fine,
a...
no
What's
worries.
that?
But yeah, yeah, you can certainly cast a spell.
Oh, I haven't seen first-hand magic. This should be interesting.
Okay.
Oh, because the signs I have are not real magic.
They're real magic, but this is a sorcerer.
Oh, they're like
Don't
baby
feel- don't-
magic.
Yeah, baby's first magic.
Don't feel bad. I can't do any magic at all if that makes you feel any better, sir.
Neither can I.
I don't use magic, but
So,
I can cut the guy.
so to cast Dispel, am I correct? I have to roll for not magical training. No.
You have to roll spell casting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking for my
Spellcasting.
spell casting.
should be in. Oh boy, it
Yeah,
should be in your will skill.
And my will skills.
Mhm.
Because I have a rather simplified PDF here
No worries.
of my. Am I really? Oh, there you are. Okay. So I'm gonna roll a D10. Kelly sucks at rolling dice. Let's not suck. That's not too bad. 23.
Yeah. You are able then to dispel this barrier.
What was the
there-
stamina cost on that so I can deduct it?
1 second.
Because it's variable cost on my PDF.
Yeah. I'll say it cost you, because it's a very sort of simple spell that like and have trained in for a while. I'll say it costs you only like 5.
Okay.
So you're a little bit more fatigued, but at least you won't be as fatigued if you step through that barrier now that it's gone.
Mhm.
But even as you dispelled it, you notice, Severin, that your medallion is still trembling. First of all, you think perhaps it's because Triss has cast a spell, but then you also realize that the magic has sort of left the air, but there's still something that your medallion is trembling at.
If I look around us, is there anything like I'm trying to see if we're not being followed by a
Mhm.
creature or something that would be less magical and more monstrous? Something that would make the medallion go off?
Yeah, you could do deduction witcher training roll for that.
If you let me, I'll go with Witcher training because it's slightly higher.
I'll say yeah. Also because like it's your medallion, so like you kind of know.
17.
It's less that something's following you, and it seems to be the very presence of the air itself. There is something about these woods that is not right.
I don't like where we are. Miss Triss, was it?
Yes.
Is the barrier down?
Yes, and I think I have a way to lead us to where he went. And she will put her fingers to her mouth and whistle.
Okay. And there's like a few seconds pause before you hear what sounds like a horse whinnying, kind of about a few feet away. And this horse, a brown mare with a black mane, comes just trotting out of the woods, just onto the path next to Triss.
Oh, there's my good girl.
But you notice, Triss, that Roach is incredibly jittery. She appears spooked, and her saddle one of the stirrups is completely like broken off, and you notice that there is no potion pouch on her. The saddlebags are gone, and more importantly, there's no Geralt.
So she would definitely be comforting Roach, petting her nose, and she looks at Severin. Can you have a quick look on those pouches, see if you can tell what potions are missing or if any are left at all?
I sure can. And summoning a horse magically, that's...
Roach doesn't
Very.
listen to the laws of physics. At least, for me, she always shows up correctly.
Oh,
Geralt always summons her on roofs.
so this is Roach. Oh.
This is Roach. She's a very good girl. And she scratches her ears.
Yeah, she seems to be a bit more settled now that you're here, Triss.
I'll make my way to the saddlebags and rummage through Geralt's shit.
You rummage through seemingly random pieces of things. There's wire, there's like pieces of wood.
Don't take anything.
Cloth, just very strange things that anyone would pick up. But they're in
raw
there.
meat.
Yeah, raw
Take his
meat.
Gwent cards.
I wouldn't do that.
That isn't his Gwent cards. You know that his Gwent cards, Triss, are like, in a special cabinet back at Corvo Bianco under lock and key.
He's got all.
He's got them all like in little card protectors.
The sleeves got the card sleeves.
Serious,
boxes.
serious.
Yeah,
Runs a spreadsheet to make sure the deck power is correct.
Yeah, he also has like one of those posters, and he ticks off whenever he gets one of the cards on it, and like, yeah.
It's all full art alternatives.
All
You're
right.
trying to figure out how he put a bowl of soup in his saddlebag, and it's still in the bowl.
Yeah, it's very strange. But alarmingly, there are no potions at all. In fact, the whole like pouch that like it would like be hooked onto the bag typically is gone.
Any ingredients left behind?
No. Triss, Geralt's kind of not the best at keeping on top of taking things with him when you tell him to. So you're not too surprised, but yeah, it's concerning that he's taken no ingredients with him. And you do notice as well that the saddle is kind of sitting a bit lopsided on Roach. Oh, you're muted, Kelly.
I would definitely check Roach for injuries.
You can check her over. She seems to have strained one of her legs, the back leg, one of them. But there is a faint scrape on one side that kind of seems like something sharp just caught her. Not exactly a blade or anything. It just seems like a sharp scratch, like maybe from a nail or spurs on a boot. And it kind of goes over her rump. You could roll deduction.
Oh boy. Deduction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have deduction.
Can I try to deduce from the wound?
Yeah, sure. You can roll a deduction.
I have awareness, human perception, but I don't have deduction.
Ooh, I rolled a 9. That means I have... I'm going to give you the total. For
I was going to say, 9's
21.
not that exciting, Simon.
21.
21.
The rider of this horse was thrown off across the back of the horse at kind of high speed.
Looks
like a sudden, the horse suddenly spooked and just threw the
Which
rider.
is not what Roach does.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Roach does it if you try to run her through a river. But anyway.
It looks like the rider of your horse, your Witcher friend, either hit a branch at full speed or forgot to cast Axie on poor Roach here when they were
Stop watching my streams, Simon.
Oops.
We're okay as long as Geralt doesn't get into a fist fight. It's okay. Roach doesn't spook easily at all.
That means your friend's in trouble.
I'd say we should probably hurry.
Mm.
And I would tell Roach to go home.
Okay.
I want to assume that the horse just disappears.
Yeah, she just
Like we
She
look
does, like-
one direction and just like
Puffs off
you know,
behind a tree, doesn't emerge from the other side.
strangely, like she just like nods her big head at like Trez, like as if she understands. Just turns like about foot and trots off and just fades.
Oh,
She-
turns back around. Must
She
have
just
unrendered.
despawns.
We hit the load cap for this area. I see.
You want to see real fun? Summon her in the middle of the ocean in Skellige.
Oh, the good old days.
She does appear if you're on a boat, though.
She does.
Oh no, I once had Roach stuck in the middle of the ocean in Skellige. There was a bug, and Roach was she just kept appearing and sinking and appearing and sinking. And I was just like,
Oh.
what have I done? No, like, no.
Yeah. I've had a few Roach misfortunes, one involving Geralt on Roach falling through the map, so
Yeah, I've done that.
just forever falling on a horse.
That's
Geralt
true.
and
We
Roach's
should be
wild ride.
we should be careful around here so that we don't step through the world.
yes, we don't know how good the GPU is here.
One section you get tired, the other one you fall through the ground.
Stuck on a table.
All right, so I mean, I think we should probably follow pretty quickly because if Roach threw Geralt, then something very bad is out there.
And as you continue on, that sense of magic that you had, the sort of like very strange, fatiguing feeling, the magic itself kind of becomes like almost tangible in the back of your mouth. There's kind of like a very acrid taste in the back of your mouth. Something is incredibly wrong in these woods. And it makes you all sort of on edge. And you could probably see why perhaps Roach may have thrown someone if she also experienced this feeling. Horses are very sensitive like that. Even Witcher trained horses are like not immune to magic. And you continue onward. You can follow where the rider got up on the horse and rode off, and there is a sort of gap between some brushes, underbrush, and bushes. And as you step through, you stumble upon another like scene of carnage, of a complete fight. And you lose track of Roach's hoof prints in the mess. There are 5 Arakars, and all of them lie dead, scattered about the ground, sort of leaned up against trees, sort of toppled over in the mud. And you can see where like the foliage has been torn up from where like they go up in their shells and like dig into the ground to roll at someone. And there is a very strong stench, Severin. Like compared to everyone else in the group who smells it as very strong, it almost like just like knocks you back with your heightened senses. It's so layered, just with so many different things. It's kind of like overwhelming.
Something smells wrong here.
Anything
me
specific, Severin?
Can I make out what the smell is?
Yeah, definitely.
You should make him roll for it. He made me roll for it on Tuesday.
You can you can roll with your witcher senses.
You can only choose 3 things you smell.
It's fine. I got a 22.
Yeah. It takes you a moment to sort of like come over this awful smell. There is the smell of blood, like humanoid blood. There is the smell of that you would recognize as witcher toxins. There is also the smell of the Araka's like innards just all across the ground, and the smell of a blade oil, like the very sort of horrible stench of that.
Which I'd recognize because I also have the same oil. Well, I not on me at the moment, but I know how to make it,
Yeah.
so I figure I probably made it in the past.
Yeah.
Huh.
A nice dosage of insectoid oil lingers in the air.
Well, it seems like your boyfriend Tris knows how to handle himself.
Yes, he's been doing this a while.
And it's at that point that as you're walking around the scene where you say he can handle himself, that you see where he must have been thrown off. There is like a big sort of like crushed gap between two bushes. But he managed to get up on his feet quickly, you can see. However, there is against one of these trees a large spatter of just humanoid blood.
Would it coincide with where he got thrown?
It does not coincide where he got thrown. It's sort of spattered up against one of these trees, almost like one of these creatures perhaps got a lucky shot in. It seems like it must have been a pretty nasty wound.
This doesn't look good at all.
Your man may be skilled, but no one
I
likes
love
to be
that
worn
I've
down.
somehow assumed ownership of him. Like, oh dear.
He needs someone to look after him. He never
That's a
looks
fact.
after himself.
That's a fact, actually.
I mean, aren't all Witchers subs?
Oh God.
It's okay. It's good. It's all good.
Lambert certainly is. She would call Severin and Lucinda both over and assume that Don and Colton would come as well to show them where the blood is, and see if we can get help, like tracking a trail from here.
Yeah, let's get some.
Broken branches, more disturbed brush.
Now that we know what the specific impressions of his boots look like.
Yeah.
Just, if you can give me just a few seconds.
Oh yeah. Yes.
I'll go to one of the Arakas's body. And I would like to, I don't know how this is supposed to work, but extract a mutagen from it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Geralt doesn't need that because he's already got plenty.
You notice that none of these Arakas have like been salvaged for any parts. Clearly, whoever Geralt clearly killed these things and then just didn't bother sort of taking anything from it. Some of these creatures aren't really salvageable. They've been scorched by what seems to be fire. But others, you can definitely take a mutagen from, I'll say.
Good. I'll get as many mutagens as you would allow me to. You said there were 4 Arakases?
5.
5.
2 of them aren't really salvageable, but you can get 3.
Okay. 3? No problem. Now I just need a half hour to brew shit.
And Colton, as Triss calls you over, something snags on your foot as you're walking past, and you trip slightly. And what's caught on your boot is a leather satchel that has been completely trampled by horse hoofs.
Oh, I'm going to pick that up.
It smells absolutely disgusting. Inside is shattered glass, and leaking out of it is a viscous sort of mixture of, you're not entirely sure what, but at some parts of the leather has been like corroded through by this liquid.
So Colton is sort of holding it, I think, by like a strap fairly gingerly out in front of him. And then turns to Severin and goes, I take it you'll know better what this is, and then sort of slowly walks it over.
Triss would turn around too and say, it's a very good thing you're wearing gloves.
Yeah. and then sort of just plops it on the ground like a respectable distance away, and then sort of backs up.
Hmm. Yeah. So, Severin, Colton passes you this bag, which has been slightly corroded through and is dripping sort of like a dark, sort of brown, blackish liquid from where everything's mixed together.
Thank you for throwing your trash at me, Colton.
Not my trash.
I'll open the. Oh God! I'll open the bag and smell.
Yeah. Immediately, you almost drop the bag. It smells really bad. But it smells like if you took loads and loads of different poisons and just threw it all together and then sort of vomited in the bag along with it. Like it just smells rank. Clearly, these are like potions that should never have been mixed
And
together.
oils and
Yeah.
Oh no.
decoctions all mixed together.
Yeah.
This bag is what we call a Witcher mixer.
Give you 2 gold to drink it.
You drink it the first week at Witcher University.
Yeah.
Freshers week.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You thought white gull was bad. You only ended up in women's pants with that.
I am not going to drink that for
Mm.
whatever amount of crowns you can throw at me.
You do recognize the distinct where it's been corroded through, that there must have been like a potion like that was black blood in there, or a very strong brew of black blood for it to have eaten through leather.
And that's definitely Geralt's potion bag.
Yeah. Whoever
So
carries
he
this,
doesn't have anything.
Yeah. So whoever carries this many potions and such strong potions clearly does not care much for their toxicity level, but
Well, I know which trees he went down this
I
way.
have to keep telling you to stop watching my stream.
So,
Every cutscene, my Geralt has just veins all through
I
his
also play the
face.
high toxicity run, like I get it.
yeah, that's just every fight. It's just
Yeah.
So Dom's gonna be looking for other signs like the broken branches, disturbed bushes, blood spatters. What would I roll for that? Like awareness, or I don't know what the search.
Yeah, I would say awareness for that if you're actively searching. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm also kind of okay at it. That's I don't, and you see, every time I say I'm good at this, let's see, 3, 8. Oh, I forgot I've got high modifiers. 16.
Yeah, you do notice that like this fight clearly went on for quite a while. And yeah, there's just a lot of destruction around the place. Some of it has been cracked through with blades. Some of it is clearly the Arakar's own destruction. And there is still that where Lucinda and Triss are standing, that big sort of blood splatter up against one tree.
Okay. Is there like a clear path where the carnage, like kind of a direction it went in, or is it just carnage?
There are boot prints that they kind of are all over the place, but then they begin to head deeper into the woods, and you can see that from like the way that the footsteps are like parted from each other, this person who was walking, perhaps Geralt, has kind of staggered away from this fight.
Okay, I'm gonna call. I'm going to guess that Lucinda is probably the closest in my vicinity, since she's checking out the tree with the blood splatter, and I'm gonna be Lucinda. Come here.
Yes. What is it? You find something?
I think I did. I think our sorceress's boyfriend headed down this way, deeper into the forest. I remember you mentioning like if the footsteps look a little weird, perhaps they staggered off. Our boy might be injured.
I mean, he's been through 2 dire-looking fights so far.
Yes. So I think this is the direction ahead.
Well, we can't lose time, certainly. It's a lot of blood. Some of it might not be his, but it's good to keep that.
Yes, and he's without his potions too, so he's in trouble.
Okay.
Yeah, Geralt without his potions in a fight that looks like, well, in a fight with something that did that to those bodies.
Yeah, certainly. I guess we should be prepared if we come upon something.
Mhm.
Better prepare now rather than later.
So yeah, Dawn, you find these footprints that suggest a person, staggered away, injured from this fight, and they head deeper into the woods. And in fact, the ground on it begins to slope up, and you can see that the person, Geralt, clearly struggled climbing up this slope, but managed to.
Okay. Would it have been is it a difficult slope to climb if you're uninjured, or is it just because he was injured?
It seems it's more kind of difficult to climb regardless. Not like extremely difficult, but being
Okay.
injured may have made it more of a challenge.
I would like to ascend the slope to get a better view of the area that he was trying to climb up into.
Okay. Yeah. You begin following these boot prints up, Dawn, and you begin to find that suddenly it seems really, really dark, like almost like it's night. But when you look
Ooh.
up, the sky is still light evening. What is casting a massive shadow over you is a very sort of lonesome and isolated tower on top of this slope.
Ooh.
You can see it sort of looming over the top as you look up.
A looming tower, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
Not
that's
ominous at all.
not ominous at all.
Mhm.
At all. Sorry, I had to make a book reference there. Don's just kind of looking up at the tower and just kind of like,
Oh, shit.
and calls his compatriots, his, I guess, acquaintances and friends up to the slope.
I think I may be onto something here. Not sure.
I would climb up to join him.
Okay. Yeah.
And I would help Lucinda up because obviously Lucinda's not abandoning the parasol.
No, she's having this is a hard climb for her. She just doesn't. But thank you. We feel thanks.
Yeah, Don will help anyone up who needs help getting up the hill because it is kind of a difficult climb.
I imagine it just sounds like pots and pans when Colton is climbing up the side of
Every time
The
Don's
night
just
noise.
Like
wincing.
it is, I think, surprisingly graceful for how much sound it's making, but there's nothing he can do about that.
Yeah.
Don's just like, can you just be a little more quiet? We don't want to let them know we're coming.
The smooth movement and then just like clang, clang, clang.
Yeah.
Clang.
For you, Severin, having been trained at the Griffin School, there were things like exercises you were made to do since like childhood that makes this like a complete walk in the park. This climb. So, yeah, you now all stand in the shadow of this tower. There are two thin arrow slit windows on the side that's facing you, suggesting 2 levels, and then above that is a sort of huge arched door with like the shutters blown wide open. So it's like a big top window. The shutters have been slammed wide open, and in fact, one of them is kind of falling off. Clearly, something inside slammed out with great force. And there was a door on the bottom level, but you see that has been blasted inwards by a force.
He was cranky.
There was wood, there is wood, and there is metal sort of scattered. Yeah, just blown inwards.
Okay. Trish would look at Severin and say, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I think it'd be preferable if I went in first.
Go right ahead.
Severin, as you approach these steps to go like into the doorway, your your medallion almost like leaps like off your chest
Nope.
from around your throat. And that sense of magic that you've been feeling that had left a nasty taste in your mouth, you suddenly get like a feeling of like complete woe and anger go through you. They're not your own emotions, which you have, very trained and like under control, but like yeah, it's very strong suddenly. And you have felt this once before in your witchering career. This sort of feeling was tied in with a curse, a very strong curse.
We're dealing with a potential curse here. I don't know if it's the tower itself or whatever's inside. We'd best be wary. And I will draw my silver sword before going in.
Ooh, exciting.
Okay. You go in, and there is a very sort of dimly lit room. This sort of that arrow slit window is letting in very strained amounts of this evening light as the sun begins to set, and it's completely abandoned inside. A thick layer of dust coats everything. There are old pieces of furniture, but the dust has been recently disturbed. You notice there are footprints tracking through the dirt on the ground, which tells you just how thick this dust is. And next to a very old termite riddled chair, there is a spattering again of blood on the ground, except it seems to have been like absorbed by how thick this dust is.
I think Triss would head over to the blood to see how much there is and if there's a trail leading upwards or to any part of the tower.
There's a very distinct and very clear trail. It leads over to a table, which is draped with an old cloth, and one side of this cloth has been like ripped by hands. Someone's taken like a big strip out of it.
She looks at Severin. Bandage? Severin's muted.
Looks like that.
Yeah, it's a pretty shitty bandage, for lack of a better word. It's clearly covered in dirt and mold, but it would do in a pinch, you suppose.
Up.
There doesn't seem to be any other way.
After you, Master Witcher.
As you're heading to where these stairs sort of carve up to the next floor, you do stumble across next to the stairs a crate, which has sort of been overturned into like a table. Recently, you see that the dust has sort of been brushed off it, and on top of it, there are a few papers that seem to have just been like flicked through. And next to it is a crooked candelabra, which is very tarnished, with a sort of lopsided candle shoved very roughly into it. It has been recently snuffed out. The wick is still blackened, and the wax is still fairly warm to the touch. Someone was reading these papers by candlelight recently.
I'll ignite the candle
Mhm.
and look at the
Baby
papers.
magic.
Baby magic. Yeah, you suddenly cast Igni. It sparks up this candle and lightens the room a little bit more. And you see that these pieces of paper, there are a few that are sort of scattered around, but they don't have writing on these other ones. They're sort of like thrown in amongst the debris on the floor. But these ones on the table clearly have been picked up from the ground. And they appear to be fragments of not exactly a diary of sorts. There are no dates or anything, but the handwriting on them describes a thought process by a woman who calls herself Rose. Um, and one of these pages, there is for Uterus. You find this very interesting. There is a charcoal illustration of a beautiful woman on one page. She has large eyes, long hair pulled up in an elaborate braid that falls over one shoulder, and she's wearing dark cutting clothing. And even without seeing the bracelet that's on her wrist in the drawing, you kind of instinctively know that she's a sorceress. And that there is a name at the bottom, Adelaide Demar. And you actually recognize that name from Aretusa. Um, it was the name of a young girl in your class. You never really liked her or really knew her very well. She was a well off, a lord's daughter who happened to be gifted with magic. Uh, and she was so spoiled rotten that she had like a very nasty penchant for becoming incredibly jealous and angry.
Oh, she lured
I
her
would-
boyfriend here.
I would pass some of this information along to the rest of the party.
Mm-hmm.
She was powerful, but she also never bothered to learn how to control it
Oh,
because she thought it should be easy for her.
that's a bad combination, certainly.
It's not a great one.
Mm-hmm. And on these two other pages are scrawled pieces of handwriting, kind of crooked and rushed. One reads, I didn't mean to kill him. I didn't. He said we'd leave this place together, that we'd raise the baby away from her. And then he said he couldn't, that he didn't want the shame of taking me to his family as I was. I was so angry. And the page cuts off. Clearly, whatever was written on the next page is disappearing. Has disappeared, sorry, somewhere amongst all this rubble. The other entry says, she found out. Adelaide found out I was pregnant. She left Jean on the floor where I'd killed him. I wasn't listening. All she did was scream at me. I betrayed her. She said no one would come near me or my blood again. She was so angry. She stormed out. She did something to the trapdoor and the window in my room. I can't get out. I can't get out, and John is dead, and I am alone. Someone, please help me.
Do we see any indication of a body having laid on this floor at any point in the past? Blood?
No.
Okay.
This room is, distinctly kind of just barren apart from pieces of like old furniture and such.
The age of the paper?
The paper is very old and yellowed. In fact, when you kind of hold it, it kind of almost breaks in your fingers, even though you're holding it gently. It's been here exposed to the elements for a good 10 plus years.
This isn't a recent event then, necessarily.
Certainly not. Look why that paper.
Yeah, but I don't imagine she's forgotten about this experience anytime soon. And maybe she's been putting her plan together for some time now.
Well, we've been out of Aretusa for a little over 2 decades. So if she did something, this paper is very old. She had to have done it a long time ago.
Oh,
And the girl I went to Aretusa with was capable of great violence when she didn't get her way.
Someone abandoned up here. Resentment. That's not a great recipe. That's a
No.
recipe for something restless, dead.
Severin, something does stand out to you.
Mhm.
The wording of Adelaide apparently saying to this girl, Rose, that no one would come near her or her blood again. The wording of that and the fact that you have felt this kind of magic before with a curse, you're kind of beginning to put two and two together.
A rose might be here.
The girl that wrote the diary?
I thought Adelaide wrote the diary.
No, Rose wrote the
Oh,
diary.
Rose. wrote the
Adelaide
diary.
is the one that did the
Adelaide is the
curse.
one in the
Mhm.
yeah. Adelaide's the one in the tower.
No, Rose was
yeah.
was the one in the tower. Adelaide's the one that cursed the tower.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Rose is the one that had Bebby and killed Bebby Daddy.
Okay, yeah. Get my little board up behind me.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Pointing.
Let's get the flow chart.
You're doing the "It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia" Charlie thing, where you're just like tying all the strings.
I need
Pepe
to
Sylvia.
talk about the diary. I have lots of the diary.
Like have a chart. It's like this is what this is.
Yeah.
I think
Oh my.
Severin will excuse himself 2 seconds while the player is going to grab a coffee because I thoroughly need it at the moment.
Absolutely valid. I think
I can still
for
hear you.
now, though, we will take a break. Just because I need to stretch my joints out because they're terrible today. But yeah,
Sounds
we
good.
will take a break. And I will also mention now, everyone who during this stream who has been donating your names, well, the email and stuff for it. Mhm. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah. We'll announce the giveaway afterwards. But yeah, there's a giveaway. Yay, fun times. But we'll go to a break now. Yeah,
Break time.
break.
Are we,
Yeah, hi everyone. Welcome back from our break. You can see that somebody else has joined us now. The person we have been looking for this whole time. And we will continue in a minute where we left off. But first of all, anyone who's been donating throughout the entirety of this stream, you have basically you're being entered into a giveaway from our Talsorian games. There are up for grabs 3. That's really distracting, Simon. There are 3 physical copies of the Witcher Core rulebook and
Don't give Doug
Lands,
more ideas beyond the hat,
and
Simon.
the Lords and Lands GM screen. And there are also 5 PDF copies of the core rulebook for the game that we're playing. And basically we'll give like your email, whatever, to our Talsorian, and they'll contact you if you are a winner. So yeah, if you donate any amount, there's like no cutoff point or like, you know, a base amount you have to pay or anything. But yeah, we'll pick up now from where we are left off in the tower, with Triss, Lucinda, Colton, Severin, and Don. God, that sucked, Puppet. I'm so sorry. Yeah, we're picking up from there. So you have now found these pages. You're beginning to put 2 and 2 together, particularly Severin, in the case of a cast being cast here on someone by this sorceress Adelaide, this girl Rose, this pregnant woman Rose, and Triss also knows Adelaide vaguely from time in Aretusa together. But yeah, you've kind of found everything that you needed to find on this floor, I suppose. And there's basically the stairs leading up to the next level.
Upstairs then?
I see no reason why not.
Seems to be the only place to go.
Are you leading Severin still?
Yep.
Okay.
I figure.
I mean, he wanted to show what an amazing Witcher he was, so
This is
I've been stripped of emotions, not my sarcasm detector.
excuses.
I'm gonna be the brave soul that Donatel Mazuka is, and gonna be hiding behind the heavily armored man at arms
That seems
while we
reasonable.
go up the stairs.
That seems
No
fair.
one wants to
So
what's up
brave
here.
and absolutely valid.
Yeah. Is it like dark in the tower? Like that's
It's
difficult to see.
It's darker now that you're going up these stairs, because like as you go up, the wall kind of drops down.
All right.
And like it's cutting off. There's no like torches or sconces or anything here. But for a Witcher, that's no problem. You can see pretty well still. And as you're going up, Severin, could you roll me a Witcher senses roll, please?
Yes. Ooh, that's a roll a 10, a 10, an 8. That's 28 plus 13. That's 41.
Yeah. You hear very, very distinctly.
He
as you're
hears
halfway up the
colors.
stairs. You can hear. Yeah. You can hear like the heartbeats of everyone behind you and their footsteps, their breathing. But ahead, where there is now a door appearing around the side, which is closed, you can hear, kind of slightly muted, is a very slow pace of even breathing, and a very dull heartbeat that's like a quarter the speed of a human's. You also hear some kind of shuffling on the floor, and a low voice kind of muttering a few curse words.
Mm. Someone's up ahead.
Well, if it's your Witcher friend, it's good that he's alive to breathe.
He's alive for now.
Hmm.
Sounds like he's in a bit of
Yeah.
trouble, if you ask me.
The door, the door.
If
at
he's
the
not,
very,
he will be.
The door at the very top is closed. It's not locked. Doug, as Geralt, could you roll me a Witcher senses roll?
Is that in the abilities box at the bottom?
Yeah.
How many do I roll?
Just the 1d10, I believe.
1d10.
And then add. Yeah.
And
As
then
we're
add one?
approaching.
So that's an 11.
You're kind of distracted by tying this very shitty makeshift bandage around your arm that it's kind of slightly a surprise when the door opens from where you had kind of been setting up to deal with this whole cursed beast. When a witcher you don't recognize stumbles in, followed by Triss and 3 other figures you do not recognize.
Triss, I see you brought the rabble with you again.
Oh, you're muted.
I wouldn't have to bring the rabble if you'd just come home.
I was busy.
I can see that. And she would go over and check to see, where the bandage was, because obviously he was bleeding fairly heavily.
The left arm.
The left arm.
And it has this very crappy bandage made by the dirty sort of cloth that you saw on the bottom ground. It's not great, but...
Yeah, I'm looking to see... Oddly enough, Triss does not have a first aid kit.
We have a doctor.
Oh, true.
Yes.
But would
Hello,
Triss
doctor.
Geralt.
Lucinda. Geralt, Lucinda. Lucinda.
You look better put together than the evidence would have suggested. Guess it's up to the Witcher toughness, but it's a good thing you're a Witcher because that bandage would have certainly gotten infected if you were not.
Well, I've been in worse scrapes.
Well, that's good because I think I have the clear bandages. Can I make a diagnose check on and just see what condition?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because she's seen enough like warriors where like she doesn't ask them because they'll be like, I'm fine, even though their leg is missing.
Yeah, that's fair. Go ahead.
And that's the 16.
It's a scrape that would be pretty bad on a normal human. Like, it's pretty deep, but it's not too bad for a witcher.
Oh, good. You'll be fine. But she'll reach in her bag and kind of take out the fluids to kind of like disinfect and put a new one like there. That should at least cover that, but you'll be fine.
As you're saying that, the scuzzy-looking dwarf that is Don Mazuka is just chuckling. I don't know if he's gonna be fine after she's done with him, and he's pointing at Triss.
I mean, he'll be fine bodily.
What's that about?
So, care to explain the dismembered bodies and the Arrakis and the tower and the not coming home?
Well, like I said, Triss, I was a bit busy. I was on my way here to deal with this, and I was ambushed by a couple of Arrakis. Roach ran away, typical Roach, probably on a roof somewhere. And,
No, she came to me just fine.
Well, good for you then, Triss.
Mm-hmm.
But before the Arrakis, I did see your footprints at the scene where 2 very dismembered bodies were found.
Wasn't me.
Well, I know it wasn't you. You were tracking whatever did it. Were you tracking it here?
Yes, I was. Do you know what you are in for here?
Well, if Adelaide's involved, nothing fun.
Adelaide's the one who put me onto this as well.
Wait,
know
you
about
took
a
a
girl-
job from Adelaide?
Not so much a job, more of a suggestion.
You took a suggestion from Adelaide.
Hmm.
You didn't bother to ask. Ugh. We'll talk about it later.
Do you also happen to be some sort of his manager?
What? I couldn't hear you, Simon.
Do you also happen to be his manager or something, that you have a say in the jobs that he takes?
Who are you?
Oh,
Exactly.
name's Serwin. Severin of Alander.
Serwin. Yeah. Well, what school are you from?
Griffin.
I never liked the Griffin school. Too feathery.
Armor kind of sucks.
Hey, look, Severin's a very effective witcher. He's kept my ass alive for how long now? He's a good chap. He's a good witcher. I wouldn't doubt him just because he's from a certain school.
To be fair, Dwarf, you hide most of the time.
Yeah, well, I'm not the one who's got witcher or sorceress powers, so I gotta keep my skin on my bones.
Either way.
Yes.
Geralt, where is she now?
Where's who?
Adelaide.
Adelaide, I don't know. But there's a woman named Rose you should be more worried about.
She should be dead.
Mm-hmm. It's more specifically what it was in Rose at the point she died.
Oh, bugger.
Seriously, you don't know what you're doing in this tower?
Rescuing you again. And my name's not even Dandelion.
I have a feeling I'm going to be rescuing you.
That'd
Even
be a
the
first.
Griffin school guy.
Well, him, yes. So then, where is it?
Where is it? I haven't seen it in a while.
And it's, as you're talking, it is night. Completely now. You realize that as the room is kind of cast into more darkness, there are a few candles lit still, so you can still see. And you begin to hear above your heads the groaning of floorboards.
Okay. Come on, kids. We gotta get ready for this. You've never had a fight like this. Or have you, Griffin schoolboy?
Sorry, I was distracted by the amount of fleas covering your armor, pup.
Boys, if we're done comparing the size of your medallions, what exactly are we dealing with?
Just about to say.
Thank you. Yeah, let's. What is it?
Is it a botchling, Geralt?
Well, if you remember the trailer for Witcher 1.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no. Because Kelly does remember the trailer for Witcher 1.
Well, it's been fun, y'all. Don's out of here.
Out. Peace. End of stream. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yes. Our dear Rose is a Striga.
Rose's baby would be a Striga.
Yeah. Rose's kid. Yeah.
Rose's kid is a Striga. Sorry, I'm bleeding.
Can we maybe try not to save this one, though? Can we just...
We'd ought to try. It's a curse after all.
Trying seems at least the bare minimum.
From above your heads, there comes a very deep, snarling growl.
I think she smelled us.
Smelled you more like.
And above your head, slightly to the side, you notice that there is this trapdoor that leads up into the room above. It's closed, but you hear the footsteps begin to walk from one side of the room across, sort of sloping, dragging of claws, as this
Towards
creature
the trapdoor?
towards the trapdoor, and suddenly the trapdoor bangs incredibly loud and begins to shake.
Oh, down it comes. Saves us the trouble
Geralt,
going up.
where's her coffin?
You're gonna need it.
Mm-hmm.
Geralt.
It's fine. Basically, what
Doug
has
ignores
been-
Kelly.
Sorry, I was looking for something.
It's fine. What's been you've found so far? This is kind of a special case of a Striga, in which the tower itself is kind of what the coffin is.
Gonna burn down a tower.
Ooh, we're
The
doing
entire
casual arson
tower.
after all.
Yeah. This tower became Rose's tomb, and in it, the Striga now lives.
That would explain why the window's blown out. You were trying to get it out of the tower. Hashtag you tried.
So you now have until dawn to stop this creature from getting back into the.
Well, first we have to get her out of the tower, correct?
Yeah.
And then we have to prevent her from getting back in the tower.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a complicated order.
How do we get her out of the tower? Obviously, you tried Ard and it didn't work.
From the sound of it, as this trapdoor is rattling and banging on its hinges and beginning to give way, you can see the wood beginning to splinter. She's clearly smelled you.
I
think the
may not be a witcher, but I make a casual vote to go back downstairs.
Yes, I think the trick here is for
Colin
the time
leaves.
being not to for her, that to get out of the tower for us to get out of the tower alive first.
Yes.
Mhm.
Can I cast a magical trap on the trap door? So that
Um,
it does open. Is that possible?
yeah, you can cast I'll say for fun, you can cast magical trap like Erden to slow it down at least, should it get through.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking it, give it a little sting as it comes through.
Mhm.
What do I do? Spell casting plus will.
Yeah.
Where's spell casting? 16 plus will. 8. So 24.
Yeah, definitely. As this wood begins to give way, you throw your arm up to cast a magical trap, and a ring of runes appear around the door. And
I love that.
it's
Gets
still
me every time.
it's still smashing at this door, but you notice the sort of bounce back on the wood is slowing down, so at least the trap is working.
So about that exiting the tower so that we force it to not fight inside its tomb, apparently that's relevant.
So yeah, after Geralt casts the trap, Triss would push Lucinda out towards the stairs. Go, go, go.
Yep.
And I'm assuming Don has already cleared the room. He's
Dawn has vanished 30 seconds ago.
Don is
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
clearing the room. I'm gonna
There's
try
just
and hide.
there's
I wanna
just
get
like a dust cloud in the shape of Don. He's
I'm-
gone.
I'm trying to hide in the hide so I can get the drop on the Striga.
Oh yeah, you could definitely do that from outside the tower. There are plenty of trees and stuff around for good cover.
Yeah. Do I have to roll anything? 'Cause I know there's skills attached to stealth and stuff.
Yeah, you can stealth, which is your
Sure.
dex plus your stealth.
Sure. That's 19.
Yeah, you can hide pretty well.
Perfect. So I'm gonna hide out and where I could jump in through a window or a broken piece in the tower to get the I can still see where my allies are. So I can get the jump in and
Yeah.
So if we're trying to get it to leave, Colton, I think, will walk outside and sort of stand as far, far enough from the door to give it time to exit, but potentially far enough that someone could block it from going back in.
So Triss is left in the room with Geralt. So you definitely want to save this one. You don't want to just.
Yeah, I know.
All right,
Way I roll.
get downstairs, and Triss will cast. Hold on. Triss will not cast that. She doesn't have enough stamina. Oh, crap.
Oof.
Okay, never mind. Standing portal's not happening. Yeah.
GM, the magic trap actually does 3d6 damage
Oh.
to against the closest within 3 meters enemy each round.
Okay. Nice. Sure thing.
So it starts
That's
screaming.
8.
All right. So Triss will follow after Geralt to get out of there because Kelly's plan was great if it worked, but it's not going to.
Yeah. Yeah, you begin running and get out of this tower. Just as the trapdoor you hear above cracks open, and the sound of a huge creature hitting the ground as it begins to basically run, like leap and run and bound down these stairs after you. And about a couple of seconds after you've ran out, this huge creature leaps out after you. It bounds on its hands and its feet. It has long, sort of gnarled, matted hair and a mouth full of like huge teeth. And yeah, it has incredible strength as it just leaps at you. And everyone roll initiative, which is 1d10 plus your reflex.
Just a quick out of character thing. When Triss couldn't cast the portal, I could imagine just Geralt's just like, thank God.
I'm gonna cast a portal. No,
Well,
I'm not gonna cast a portal.
it wasn't for him. Point of law, Simon pointed out to me that I was not taking into account Triss's crystal staff, which lowers all my stamina costs so far.
Yes.
So
you can correct that. That's fine.
Yes, I can, but I'm still not going to use 90%
Okay.
of that to cast a portal.
I got a 17.
And you said D10 plus Dex, right?
D10 plus
Yeah.
reflex. Okay.
Reflex.
I got a 19.
18.
10.
15.
Don't laugh at me, Simon. I see you laughing at
No,
me.
no. I just wanted to ask Sarah if I could burn luck on initiative.
Yeah, go on. I'll allow it.
Did you roll a nat one?
No, I'll actually burn 2 points just so my initiative is 1 higher than Doug's.
Hey, the pettiness.
Oh my god.
All right.
Dear,
medallion
at this
flexing
time,
along.
Simon was such a fan of Doug's, and now Simon just wants to take him down.
Quick question, Sarah, mechanical thing. I plan on using like an improvised weapon. Is there any like special rules for that or anything that I need to be aware of? Because I'm gonna light my lantern and jump down and try and like smack it with the lantern to light it on fire.
Oh, okay.
That's
Cool. We get to deal with a flaming stringer, my favorite.
Good drink.
Look, I don't
At
got
least I can
silver.
see it now.
I'll say that you just roll a 1d6 of damage, and then
Okay.
like if you happen to set any part of it on fire, I will then do fire damage for it. But
All right, sounds good. I just didn't want to like
that's
throw it
fine.
at you in the middle of
Don't worry.
combat and have you to make quick rules on the fly.
Colton, what did you get again? Sorry.
I got an 18.
Okay. Okay. So Severin, you're first.
Well, there you go.
All right.
This is,
So
yeah.
where's this trigger compared to us?
It is basically leapt out of this door just as a few seconds after Triss and Geralt come running out. So this huge beast is about a couple of meters behind them. And you know that with how far a Striga can jump, that yeah, they're in pretty much range of it to easily be hit. You're very close to it. Yourself, you could make it quite easily.
My first reaction would be to cast Quen on myself.
Okay.
And I'm going to pump all of the stamina I can, which is 7 points in this case. Because Griffin. And I'm just going to wait for it to get up to me to make sure that everyone And by everyone, I mean Colton, I mean Lucinda and Dawn have cleared out. I am sure Triss and Geralt
Yeah.
can handle this.
Don has disappeared into the trees. So you're pretty good on the Don front, but with Colton and Lucinda, yeah, you can put like yourself kind of in between.
Yeah.
The Striga and them.
With the silver blade drawn, and that would be my turn.
Okay. Then Geralt, it's your turn. You're running with Dress. The Striga has literally landed very close within range of you, and appears to be readying a leap onto either you or Triss, or perhaps even both, with how close you are to each other.
God,
Muted?
you are muted.
You're muted this whole time.
You are muted.
We're taking silent
Oh my God.
protagonists to a whole new level here.
Strong silent type, right? Am I right?
Still muted, Doug.
You need to press spacebar or hold it.
Here, who's hosting the call? Just right click and unmute him. You can do that, whoever's hosting.
Oh, Doug.
No, it's okay. My keyboard died on me.
Oh,
That's fair.
No.
Yeah.
So, right. What I think I would like to do, do I have a yes. So I've got a salmon bomb. So I'm gonna chuck a salmon bomb at the Striga.
I heard
yeah.
salmon bomb and
I
got
heard
really
salmon
confused.
too.
I got
Yeah.
Salmon bomb.
Salmon
Yeah.
bomb.
for a minute. Okay, continue.
I went fishing before I came here. I just happened to have a salmon bomb that I made before. This is one I made earlier. So anyone caught in the blast of this bomb must make a stun save at -2 and is blinded for 6 rounds. So I'm going to chuck this salmon bomb at this trigger.
Okay. Yeah. So 1 second. What must it do again? Sorry. My
I know, I'm reminding myself as well. Salmon bomb deals no damage, but anyone caught in the blast of this bomb must make a stun save at -2 and is blinded for 6 rounds. It doesn't say how big the stun blast area is, though, so I guess we'll have to
I think it's either 2 meters or 5 meters. I think Simon's muted.
Okay. So Simon, you're muted if you're saying the.
I've been saying that I've got the book open,
okay.
if you want, and Samim is 4 meters.
Yeah. So, both Triss and Geralt, you'll be caught in the salmon bomb as well.
Oh, great! Yeah, that was a really smart move, wasn't it?
Yeah, you would just hear Triss going, "Brilliant!"
Yeah, you turn around, kind of misjudged the distance, slight panic at the fact that this huge monster could very easily jump and kill you both, and just throw a salmon bomb in its face, not really taking into consideration how close it is.
Okay, so what does that do then?
You also need to make a stun save with
at
-2. Mm-hmm.
Stun save. So what do I do? Reflexes?
So you roll a d10, and then where your stun is in your my goodness, in your stats, you add that on.
Okay, so for me, because I don't have stun.
Yeah, that means
how to
you
save.
Where is this?
Because I just rolled a 10
Should be
on my
based off
die.
body, I think, right?
It's
Oh, stun. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Okay. 11.
Okay.
Good. Are you remembering to add your skill in to your dice
Which
roll?
one?
No, but
Yeah.
What were you saying,
Stun.
Sam?
My stun is 8,
Okay.
and I rolled a 3.
Oh, good job.
So a stun save, you just roll a regular die, and you have to roll under your stun. You don't.
Right. Okay. That's good then.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant!
Triss's stun is 6, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I did it then. I'm okay.
So, in other words,
avoid the
I
stun.
managed to actually roll well and stun myself at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Woof.
Okay, so Triss is stunned. The Striga, however, is not. It gets hit in the face, and it screams in absolute rage at you, Geralt. You've kind of drawn its attention, And Triss, sorry, you kind of stagger, unable to see clearly from all these sort of grains that were included in this bomb and the bright light that came from it.
Did I ever tell you, Triss, that you're absolutely stunning?
Oof.
I will kill you later.
Unfortunately, Geralt, you have attracted the attention of this Striga, and it's going to, swing, well, basically leap and then swing its huge claws at you on the down stroke of its fall. So you can try and block that if you like.
Yes. Wait, let me just get something clear. If I use a sword to battle the Striga and I like cut off an arm or something like that by accident, not trying to, but if it happens, does that mean that the Striga,
the curse gets broken and it's missing an arm?
Yeah. That would happen if you cut off a body part.
Oh.
You
Well, I don't want to cut off a body part. Huh? Don't have to save everyone.
Chris blindly from the side.
Yeah.
Didn't do that to me.
But I will say, if you want to do
the Striga than you did with your girlfriend.
If you want to do like non-deadly attacks, you can just state that you're doing that and still do the damage, but like it will be put into instead, you hit it with the pommel or the flat of your blade rather than actually with the side that would cause damage.
Okay. All right. Well, let's try this. So I in one smooth motion I draw my silver sword and use it to parry the attack.
Okay. So you don't need to spend stamina on that because it's a first block. But yeah, you feel these huge claws come crunching down on your blade and sort of like skirt along it, causing sparks. But you do manage to block it. And it's now Colton's turn.
I'm gonna run really quick and grab some batteries from my keyboard, and I'll be right back.
No worries.
Seems reasonable. Has anyone else communicated the fact that if you cut off an arm, it remains cut off by any chance?
I think that was a Geralt original thought there.
Gotcha. So no one else knows. At least I don't anyway. So yeah, Colton's going in with the pointy and the sharp end.
Although, to be fair, you were in the room when they said they were trying to save it, so you could still specify non-lethal.
That's true. I think like Colton, I think Colton isn't trying for dismemberment so much, but I also think
trying to like wear it down, basically.
Yeah, Colton's going for Colton doesn't trust themselves to be able to like flat end over the blade them to death. So I think they're going to go for enough cuts to make them stop.
Yeah.
Is what I'm aiming for. So Colton has two swords. I'm only going to use one to it. I think I'm going to do a fast attack with one of them. That way I'm not doing the whole joint attack nonsense. But going for it with a blade that is the one that he drew from his back, which is very, very obviously meteorite for people who are looking. So cool. So we're adding. All right. So I haven't played this game in ages. It's swordsmanship plus reflex, correct? I think.
Yes.
All right. Let me double check what that is. That's a. Oh right, that's really high. That's a 29.
Second, let me check something.
See if that counts. I don't know.
Yeah, you land a solid hit.
Excellent.
Kind of like into the meat of its arm, as it's attacked Geralt.
Sure. And do I have to do anything else after that? I don't remember.
You roll your damage, so your d6.
Let's do that. That's 66. 10, 17, 24.
Yeah. Okay. You land a pretty solid hit. And this mixed meteorite blade This is your special blade, right?
Correct.
Correct. So the two witches, the sword gets pulled out. Your medallions begin humming at this sword that Colton has drawn. And he lands a solid blow into the flesh of this Striga's arm. The Striga screeches in pain and staggers back a few feet, relinquishing Geralt's blade where it was clawing at it. Kind of staggers, not grievously wounded. It seems more shocked at the pain of what the meteorite steel did. Don, it's now your turn.
Nice. The Don's gonna see all this going down. I'm gonna attempt to light my lantern, jump out of the tree into the tower, and hit the Striga with the lantern. Just whack it. And I'm hoping to break the lantern to get the oil all over the Striga to light it ablaze.
Yeah, you can roll reflex and add brawling to it.
Reflex and add brawling.
I'm like super amused that he has probably one of the most famous fire witches on the continent with him, but he's choosing to use a lantern.
You know,
whatever works, right?
I mean, she could have done something if her
To oblige.
hadn't stunned her.
Well, that's the problem. And also, I'm gonna just make it known: Don's out for his own hide. If we gotta kill the Striga, we gotta kill.
No, I'm making a joke.
I know. I'm just saying, like, mechanically speaking, if we gotta kill this thing, I'm killing it.
Yeah, that's
hello.
It's like Dawn breaks the lantern over Triss over there, like, what am I to you?
Also, hello, Heroes Without Limits. Thank you for rating us.
Yay.
I am chopped liver to everyone in this game.
I'm gonna jump. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. All right. Roll that reflex check. That is a 15.
Give me a second. Yeah, you smack it, like you land a smack, but it doesn't do anything.
That's scary.
Other than like make this Striga immediately turn its head to you and roar in your face.
It begins.
So Don like jumps, like, superhero jumps, hand axe in one hand, lantern in the other, jumps down, smacks the streak, and nothing happens. She's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Fuck. But yeah, Lucinda, it's your turn.
Yeah, Lucinda just looking at her book, trying to find something that maybe will help info. But I think the salmon bomb just kind of distract her. It's like, and she looks at Triss like, oh no.
Yeah, you see Triss kind of staggering, blinking, trying to rub at her eyes.
She knows what she has to do. She's going to go toward Triss, reach into her satchel and take out some smelling salts. And it's like, I think we're going to need you. She's looking at Dantel. I think we're going to need you very quickly.
Oh, I hate those. Thank you. Oh.
Can I also make any sort of like knowledge or lore roll to see if I can think of something that could help?
You could do monster lore if you have it.
Yes.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Oh, damn.
She likes to study monsters in her free time.
Yeah. Yes.
That is plus intelligence. So 17?
Yeah, you could think that perhaps if you were going for a non-lethal way of killing it, you could perhaps risky, but try and tie it up. Perhaps you need to find a way to kind of like physically stop it.
How many hours are we talking, by the way, till dawn?
Till dawn. I'm being generous and saying you got to the tower around about night started to fall. Yeah, so I'll say it's like around about 11 p.m. So you've got like 5 hours.
Oof.
If we're not gonna kill this, we're gonna have to restrain it somehow. Does anybody have any rope, anything?
Oh, Lucinda as well. You could think about. It sounds terribly dangerous, but perhaps scattering to confuse it.
Yay, splitting the party.
Ah, yeah.
That never goes wrong.
The GM has suggested the split the party tactic. All right, let's go.
Or maybe we distract it somehow. Keep it occupied until
Maybe
then.
turn this game into Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
And that will be my turn. I'm just going to keep
Okay.
looking through the books and just keeping an eye on everybody.
Or until dawn, given the monster that we're fighting.
Lucinda stood to the side of the battlefield flicking through a book.
Yeah.
And but Severin, you do hear, and Geralt as well, with your heightened senses, you do hear her call out, and you hear her like instructions of either physically stopping it by binding it, or the even more dangerous suggestion of splitting up and running to try and confuse it.
Can I shout something? Can I
Yeah,
see kind of
definitely.
with my heightened Witcher senses? I sense that some people are going to bolt, and I say, "Don't run away! We need to knock it out and tie it up." But
Yeah.
I say it more like this: "Don't run away! We need to knock it out and tie it up."
Yeah, definitely.
What if all this time the other voice was Geralt's real speaking voice and he was just trying to sound cool?
That's what I learned at the School of the Wolf.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow.
how
I
to
didn't
sound
think
really
I'd
badass.
Oh,
I didn't think I'd come out of this with another Geralt headcanon, but there we go.
It's definitely Geralt on the path by himself, just throwing voices at Roach and be like,
Which one
does this
sounds
one
cool?
sound intimidating?
The entire Get High with Roach scene quest is just
Oh
him
my
actually
God.
talking to himself.
Oh my god. Yeah, Severin, it's your turn. You hear Geralt shout to knock it out and tie it up.
well, seems like you have some experience fighting Strigus.
I've had one or two of those experiences. I mean,
You hear Triss yell from the side, "You know damn well he has." Severin's such a little ass.
I don't read Dandelion smut novels on Geralt, so
why does Severin's name it's spelled like Sewerin?
yeah, I know it's Polish.
Pronunciation.
Yeah.
Polish.
Oh, okay.
Severin.
I like Sewerin better.
Hello,
That's like,
kitty.
you know.
I thought Geralt didn't like sewers.
That's
Only
why he
when
doesn't
there's-
like me.
Yeah, only when there's vampires involved.
So
And giant frog creatures.
Just talking about that.
Or a Zoogle.
So with my silver sword out, I will look at Geralt really quickly, and I'll say, "Let me show you how a real Witcher fights."
Did we skip my turn? Because
What, are
she
you gonna hold a
unstunned
mirror
me.
up to me?
Oh yeah. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Triss.
you're the last.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Triss. Yeah,
Why
you
is
can go next.
everyone
I'm so
ignoring
sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Triss, it's your turn. Thank you for reminding me though. My brain's all over the place. But yeah. Severin. Severin.
Well, you done it now. That's it for the rest of the game.
It's all falling apart. But
Well, we know how his name's going to appear in Dandelion's novels now.
As Triss takes her turn in combat now, unstunned, Severin, you're you're making this remark to Geralt, we'll say.
So the Striga got knocked back from Geralt slightly. Who is still in range of the Striga? Like, is she kind of by herself? Or how far away is Dawn and Colton?
Next to the Striga is Colton. Dawn, about 5 feet away from the Striga is Geralt, and Severin. And next to you is Lucinda, and Triss, you're about 10 feet away from this Striga, from where like you stumbled and then Lucinda pulled you aside to help you.
So yeah, they're definitely in a 2-meter range. Oy vey. Okay. This is how I end up doing stupid things like magnetizing someone's armor. Let's see.
I think
here.
you mean amazing things.
So I can't do that because they're all in range. Thanks, guys.
I'm sorry, my only options are cast sword.
Cast sword.
So I guess in that case, I'm going to do Seraph Hall, which is I'm going to create serpents from fire magic that swarm over the target. She is grappled and on fire until she makes a dodge escape check versus my spellcasting roll. Every round that the target fails, the DC rises by 1 point.
Okay. What is the DC on it? Does it say?
So versus my spellcasting roll. So I think I have to do a spellcasting roll first.
Mhm.
Don't suck. 10. 5, 15. So 34.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, damn. Okay, yeah. These fiery serpents, you said they were?
Yeah, they're like tangling serpents that will swarm up them and take her legs and her arm, bind the arms to the body. So she is considered grappled and on fire. I'm not sure how the on fire is going to work.
You could, I'll say, you could definitely make your spell non-lethal by controlling the magic. So
No,
you
but
could just
I don't
keep
know how much
grappling with it.
damage the fire does per round.
Right, okay.
Oh, it's 5 points
Five-
to every body
yeah.
location.
Okay, so 5 points per round. And because I rolled that burst die, the DC is going to go up to 35 next round.
Okay. Damn, okay.
But no, I'm the one that everybody thinks is funny to throw away to the side. Okay.
Yeah, you see Tress throw her hand out, and from her fingers fiery, like coiling serpents that wrap around the Striga. The Striga screams in pain and takes a big chunk of damage. And Severin, it's now your turn. You have this Striga that's grappled by these magical serpents, but also on fire and screaming in pain.
I will slightly change my quip that I said to Geralt, and instead I'll look at Triss and Geralt as I approach the Strigo with my sword and say, shows who's actually proficient in this relationship.
I mean, he's not wrong.
And I'll make 2 fast strikes at the Striga.
Okay.
I'm not aiming for anything specific. I'm just trying to wound her as much as possible to try to get her to, tire her out, mostly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So first attack with a plus 21 is an 8, so that's 29. Do you want me to roll location right away?
Yeah, you can. And your damage.
Sure. So it's on the right arm.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to take half damage after armor, if she has armor.
No.
Okay. So half of 15 for the first attack.
15. So that's 7. Yep.
That's a 10. That's a 3. 13 plus 21. That's 34.
Full damage or halved?
Huh?
Full damage.
Oh,
or
no,
halved?
34 to hit with the second attack, and that would be on the head. So that's going to be.
Well, it's grappled and it can't break it. So yeah, you get to hit.
Good. Does it also count as a crit?
I will say yes. You can choose whether to make it lethal or non-lethal.
It's going to be non-lethal. I'm going to bonk it on the head with the pommel.
Okay.
So 10, 19, 21 times 3, 63 plus 10 for the crit. So that's 73 on her face.
Yeah. You bring are you doing a pommel or the
pommel
blade?
to the face?
Yeah, okay.
I'm really trying to just knock her out.
You take this, you take the pommel of your blade and you slam it down into her head. You hear this very nasty, loud cracking sound. You even see some of her teeth get completely blown out by this hit. Whoops. But she does collapse unconscious. Still with these serpents tied around her.
Which are effectively tying her up.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, I see, Severin, you still have a way with the ladies.
That seems to be a rather unfortunate way, if that's what we're talking about.
I don't know, it depends. Some might see that as a good thing. You never know. Also, didn't forget about you back there. I was trying to distract the streaker so you wouldn't, get hurt. Never.
That was a
You were very distracting.
very good attempt, Don.
I do what I can. What can I say?
Yeah, this Striga is knocked out completely cold.
So
Right? Can Triss's spell
No,
hold out
everybody
forever,
just
or is it?
back up, back up, back up.
Is
Seriously, you too. And she looks at Severin. Go away.
well, back up. Jesus.
Go away. And Triss will toss on the ground. I'm assuming I don't have to make an athletics check since I'm tossing it right in front of me.
No.
She's going to toss a Talgar's Tears potion on the ground, which is going to freeze, for obviously cancel the fire spell first.
Yeah.
She's going to freeze the Striga in place on the ground.
Yeah.
Which until if she was awake, she could fight the grapple, but not awake.
Mm,
And this
yeah.
also does no damage. It just freezes.
Yeah.
Which is what I was going to do if people weren't in 2 meters of her, but hey.
Yeah. The Striga then has been completely subdued. That's and you are successful. You now basically stood on this slope outside this tower. A huge unconscious sleeping, now frozen Striga has now been just slumped on the ground. You are all now out of initiative, of course. So Triss, you have finally found Geralt, and in doing so, he brought you a Striga.
Some men bring flowers. Some bring chocolate. Why do you always have to bring monsters?
It's romantic.
No.
And who doesn't like a little danger in their life, in their relationship?
He says next to a huge 5-foot-tall monster with
And he's
huge
covered in
claws.
gunk and gross.
makes the bindings look like little bows.
Do we draw lots to determine who's gonna get to sleep in that beast's sarcophagus?
The whole tower is the sarcophagus.
Oh,
The whole tower.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
does that mean that we have to go in the tower and keep the Striga outside, or do we just have to keep the Striga outside?
I think you just have to keep from the wording that I remember from the books. You just have to keep her outside.
Yeah.
You don't have to actually sleep in there. Geralt just did that
Okay.
because he was.
It
bleeding
was a
out.
good way to do it.
Yeah.
It looked good in the cutscene.
Yeah.
Because it was cool in the book.
Because it was cool, and also it was the only thing handy at the time.
It's true.
So we've got to
have
find a way
kill.
to keep the Striga immobilized.
Oh, she's immobilized. She's
Mhm.
unconscious, and I froze her to the
Yeah.
ground. She can't move.
But will she remain unconscious,
Yeah.
or if she wakes up, will the freeze spell?
Nope, she would remain unconscious the way it works, I believe.
Lucinda, you could make a check for the kind of injury that Severin inflicted to see how long this creature would be out for.
Okay. That's a healing hands roll. So,
Mhm.
ooh. When you roll 10s, you roll again, right?
I don't have another hat, Doug. What, you shower cap, really? Okay.
22, 23.
The damage kind of inflicted by Severin would leave anyone extremely concussed. So you've got a good long hours worth of an unconscious creature on your hands.
Just an hour or
hours. So like
hours,
you probably got
okay.
probably in like a ballpark of like 8 hours with 4 hours till dawn.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
It should last for the duration, but I can keep an eye just in case.
And who was the one who scored that blow that left her unconscious?
Looking at Severin, pointing at it.
Hey,
being a hype
Donatello,
man.
Yeah.
shut up.
Okay.
So I guess we have time to kill, is what you're saying, Lucinda.
Yes,
Let's
All
play a
right, then,
game.
I have a Gwent
how
deck.
about
Your Gwent cards are at home,
Oh,
Gerald.
no.
We already established this.
Oh,
Yeah, we also established that Geralt is like a Magic the Gathering player with his cards.
I felt personally attacked in that sequence.
You know, when Triss gets mad at him, she finds his rare card and dog ears a corner.
No!
you do not do that. You do not do that.
No!
Oh, the visceral reaction from the Magic players in the room being like, no!
You just devalued that.
Devalued it.
beta.
No, but Severin would actually open up his satchel and get a small waxed bag of dog tallow.
Of Doug Tallow?
Yeah.
Dog tallow.
No, dog.
Dog. Not
Dog.
Doug Tallow.
And-
Specifically that
Yeah.
one dog that nobody
And
likes.
as is per Witcher tradition, when you meet a Witcher from another school, you have to challenge him to a chest naked duel of fist fight.
not that again.
Oh my god.
Don't worry, I'm not controlling Geralt. He might actually win this fist fight.
So I also brought the dog tallow so we can do the chest oiling.
I was gonna say
ritual.
you're gonna oil up first.
Yeah.
Lucinda takes out her notebook and starts writing stuff
Yeah.
down.
Colton just sighs, sheaths the blade, and sort of sits down by the door of the tower
Mhm.
because apparently that's his job today, is to do the actual job while they're
This is-
wrestling.
I mean,
Yeah, this is a strange scene. We have an unconscious Striga on the ground, and
the
witches
Witchers.
now fist fighting. Okay.
Who do you want to put money on? Do you want to put money on Geralt or do you want to put money on Severin? I'm taking bets right now.
Of course, Don is the one getting bets.
right now I'm just
Going-
considering changing the locks on the villa. That's all.
Okay, we'll do a contest then of 3 rounds, like, you know, best
You
of
don't
3.
have to.
No, we are now. Best
You,
of 3.
you said this. This is your
Best
fault. You
of
have
3,
no one to blame
right?
but you.
You got to roll reflex and brawling contested against each other.
I mean, this is
Best
where
of
chat
3.
figures out how serious we are about this game.
Yes.
This is going academic journal, by the way.
Hey,
this whole
this
thing.
is serious because in the games you have to like fist fight
I know, I hate
to
it.
become the best.
It's the only achievement I don't have.
Can be only one.
No.
Right, you
Right.
ready, Doug?
Come on, then, old man.
Yeah.
My first roll is a 17.
Make
Is-
sure to
is
add all
this
your
for initiative?
qualifiers.
No.
It's
It's
for
so
melee.
you roll brawl plus
Yeah.
your reflex.
Brawl plus reflex and add it to the D10.
Okay. 38.
You
Yeah,
get
Severin,
knocked
down.
Yeah.
Whack!
Yeah, solid smack to the face, I guess. Unless Doug, you want to choose where you hit him.
I think I'm gonna go for the jewels.
That's
I mean,
fair.
that's not going to do anything
that's
for a Witcher, though.
He's still got
But
jewels.
it is funny.
That's true.
It's
That's true.
still
It's
hot.
funny.
Footballing groin humor gets him every time.
It's a hard punch. Ow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go sit
Yeah.
by Triss will go sit by Lucinda and just say, really rethinking my life decisions.
Are they all like this?
As Geralt's
I
kneeing
thought it
another
was-
witcher in the ball.
Triss, did you see that? That was
I
good,
know.
wasn't it?
I thought it was just. I thought it
Are
was
you
just
proud of
Sir.
me?
Yeah.
Lord.
You're
So
fighting fair,
you
I see,
contest.
pup.
This is what I deal with on a regular basis.
She'll look at Tristan and say, "I thought it was just Sir one that was like this. They're all like
So,
this."
They're all like this.
Oh,
yes.
You should meet the other wolves. They're worse.
Severin, you are completely winded by that dive,
Mhm.
but yeah, you can contest it again if you want to continue.
Oh, I'm gonna try
Trying your
to go for
luck.
his.
Oh boy.
And I'm gonna
Woof.
burn all of my luck.
Oh god.
to get
Yes.
a 24.
Yes.
24. Okay.
And during this fight, Don's just like trying to say things to egg them both on, like make them keep fighting. Like, did you see the way he talked about you before we even got here? Like,
I think Colton's having a very never meet your heroes moment.
And yeah, what did Garrett get on the brawling there?
You have to do another.
Or are we doing another roll?
Yeah, another roll.
Yeah, because Severin took a
Yeah,
swing
Triss
again.
is just looking at Colton and looking sad for him because,
39.
Oh my god.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Garrett wins.
Yep.
Best of two.
Yep.
Yeah, Garrett, you could choose where to hit him again this time.
Shall we just say he just gives him a good punch to his stomach.
haymaker.
And then just a punch to the stomach. He doesn't want to hurt the guy, really.
Yeah.
He just wants to win the fight. So, but then as he says, should have told you, don't mess with the bull, son, or you'll get the horns.
Oh, jeez.
Colton just vaguely looks like he's going to ponder asking a question. I didn't know that was a school, and then thinks better of it and then says nothing.
And as slowly dawn does come around, this Striga begins to transform, still frozen in place by your
I think Lucinda and Triss would both be over there with her as she's
into what looks to be perhaps a 10-year-old girl, which kind of matches with how old the paper was. And she can't move, but you see she is kind of afraid, slightly unsure of what's going on. And you kind of get the impression that if she were able to move, she probably would be slightly feral and perhaps do something to you. Which, Geralt kind of has first experience on.
Triss would take a blanket out of like her pack and, cover up the girl as she's transforming.
Yeah.
And then just sit there with Lucinda and see if they can come up with a way to calm her down.
I think for this sort of thing, we just give her space and just maybe food.
Well, before we had the amulet.
Should you put her in the recovery position?
No. Before the last time I did this, we had an amulet that helped, but this time I don't have anything like that. And I can't remember, that was a pretty hefty enchantment. That wasn't like a quick time enchantment
thing,
on Ada. So I think really we should just keep her still and covered.
Yes,
would she have any comprehension of language?
No. She'd probably have comprehension of like basic like body language. So she would be able to interpret that you were being gentle and kind compared to aggressive or anything.
Yeah.
But
so basically telling all the men to stay away.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, the oiled up men
who are now bruised.
I gather that by now we're dressed up and probably sharing a
so
bunk.
now your clothes are stuck to your skin because you covered yourself in oil first. It's gross.
Yeah.
Making awkward noises the whole time.
I know. So yeah, I mean, I think Lucinda, unless Lucinda had something else to do, I think just covering her and like sitting with her and like brushing her hair.
Yeah. She's also checking, make sure she doesn't have like any effects from the combat left over. She isn't sure if that
just her missing
translates
teeth.
over. Yeah.
Yeah. She seems, you can tell quite clearly, a bit concussed. Like her pupils aren't entirely reacting properly to light.
Is she missing teeth?
She's
yes.
She would be.
If she's 10, it should.
I mean, they might come back.
Missing teeth, but when you do check her teeth, like they are children's teeth, so like you can probably assume that they'll grow back.
Yeah, I think Lucinda also, if we're going to travel with her, she has a set of clothes that are probably like, Lucinda's tiny. Lucinda's like 5 foot, so maybe this like
same
child.
But she does have a mark, however, from where Colton hit her with the blade. It's not actually a cut, it's healed over, sorry. But it's like a dark line, kind of like where he cut. It seems to like his sword probably like cut through the magic barrier, kind of like made her this creature. So
yeah.
But the question is now, what do we do with her?
You could.
Do we have to do something about Adelaide?
That's what I'm worried about.
You haven't seen Adelaide anywhere or any signs that she's been here. She seems to have kind of left
Thrown a
this,
fit and left.
Yeah, thrown a fit and left, basically, for the most part.
We wouldn't like reverse the Striga spell thing if we took Lucinda back in the tower,
No,
would we?
no. Well, Lucinda's the doctor.
It's been
the Striga's
yes. The Striga, the curse has been broken.
Sorry, not Lucinda.
Yeah, and
girl.
as she's like transformed back, that sort of feeling that you all had of like cursed magic has sort of
dissipated
from these woods. But you could roll a Triss. You could roll a deduction, perhaps.
I don't have deduction. I have human awareness.
Or
education,
I'm trying to think.
Awareness, leadership.
Education, then I guess.
Education.
Yeah.
20.
There's an orphanage in Beauclair.
Yeah, I remember what happened at that orphanage.
That didn't happen in this version.
Oh, that's right. You used the other ending. Okay. Oh, but that means she's still alive.
Yeah, or the lady Oriana.
Yeah, no, I'm not taking her to that orphanage. I don't care if Triss doesn't know about it. I'm not taking her to that orphanage.
If we are looking for a solution that has more of a stable sentence, I don't think my wife would have any problem looking after her.
You're married?
It'll be quite a thing. She has been living out in the wilderness. It's going to require
patience.
Lots.
Oh, she's got that in spades and enthusiasm.
And she doesn't go hunting down her husband
And she
if he disappears
doesn't
for a few days.
She doesn't
And Triss just turns and stares at Dawn like, really? Well, if Colton's wife, I mean, that could be exactly what she needs. Stable home. And you don't think your wife would have any problem with you bringing home a small child?
Small feral child.
Yes.
You'd honestly be more mad that I left it somewhere else, frankly.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, 15.
Thank you, 15.
Then you have this plan then to take this girl who has substantially calmed down now, with Triss and Lucinda kind of being very patient with her and such. She seems slightly afraid, as most children are, of witches. So kind of scared of the appearance of two witches, kind of also taken aback at the weapons you all carry, things like that. And at Dawn, you seem to get an impression she's perhaps never seen a dwarf before, from the way she reacts. She seems very confused, but
she's very small and she has very short legs. So after Lucinda gets her dressed, Triss will whistle.
Yeah, and from from behind the tower, the Roach rounds and just stands next to you, Triss.
She will just grin at Geralt.
Traitor.
And help the girl up onto Roach.
Okay. Then the curse is broken. You have rescued this child from the life of being a Striga and rescued potentially many other villagers from falling into the same fate as two knights. And I think as we leave it there, you will probably all head to Corvo Bianco for some well-deserved wine.
Can we loot the tower first?
Yes.
What?
Several more pieces of string, moldy cloth.
Yeah.
What was your question, Colton?
So Colton, I think, is going to walk up to both Triss and Lucinda, because he's had another chance to ask for them, because you all seem to know a lot about things. Before I was a guard, I was a peasant. I didn't have a lot of education or any of that training. Do you by any chance recognize this? And so he will pull the sword out that he pulled out before and sort of hand it to you.
Oh boy.
Wow, what's this?
Again, the witch's medallions begin humming. of that blade being drawn.
I don't like this.
Education?
Yeah, education.
Oh, education.
rolls.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad.
20.
27.
26. Yes.
Yeah. Then you take this sword in, and for a moment it doesn't register, but then there's something familiar about it, and then it clicks. This is a pretty not exactly like super powerful sword, but a very significant magical sword that has been blessed and given by the Lady of the Lake. And that's possibly why it's left a mark on this girl. The way it was able to cut through magic.
Erendite.
I was
Not
gonna say,
Excalibur.
Yeah.
So don't worry, Colton. The more things that you kill, the more powerful this sword's going to get. As long as you kill 10 at a time and don't get hit in between.
Yeah, you'll get an achievement.
You see, it's very
Erendite, but I
arbitrary.
appreciate the reference.
It's very, very specific, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. So as,
And don't ever let Geralt have it because he keeps losing it.
Yeah. And as Triss
Oh,
is
that's where it went.
yeah. And as Triss is explaining these very finicky like situations using the sword and exact rulings, she seems to know a lot about it. That you all head, to Corvo Bianco for some well-deserved wine. And that's where we end.
Yay!
Oh, Talsorian said to break down the tower because Geralt needs stone in his Animal Crossing save.
That's some Minecraft nonsense right there.
All right, that's one block.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Yeah, well, so much for coming to play. So we'll just do like everyone's plugs and stuff. So
And then I assume you're going to do the giveaway while we're still here or after?
The giveaway will close, and then like we take the sheet and do draws, and we'll announce it on the Twitter or something. I think.
Hello, God.
Thanks, God.
Hello, God.
Oh,
It's me, God.
No one can hear God. Okay.
Hello, God. It's me, Don. Can you hear me?
Ah, God was the voice in my head. I see.
Yeah. So, Alex.
Actually, I'll go last because I got to.
Oh, you want to go last? Okay, yeah. Okay, then John.
Oh, I'm
Your
first.
plugs.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, hi, I'm John. I am on Twitter at Rymasa, RY0MASA. I play on. Nope, that show ended. We're on the new one now. I play on Thrall on Unmade Gaming as of this Tuesday. We're starting a new campaign. I also play in the Urban Shadows game New Acadian Nights on Straticus Academy at Thursday at 9:30 p.m. EST. Other than that, I do a bunch of different homebrew things. I'm working on some stuff actually for The Witcher, the sword that Colton does have, which is actually not Erendite. It's Caliban, is a homebrew that I built for the thing because I was extremely... I had a lot of free time and had way too many, not enough things to do.
Doesn't have free time right now.
Me waking up to 20 messages in the morning.
Look, my sleep schedule is ruined, and therefore this game is just like way outside the scope of things. But we're currently working on Omens Rising, which is on another game that is showing up on this stream tonight at, I don't remember what time it is because I'm on 4 different things today.
There's a link for the schedule down below.
There's a link for the schedule down below. Click that one. But it is a game based in using cartomancy to create your characters and to play the game. And then also working on a port of the Witcher TTRPG and creating a sort of separate setting where we're cranking it up a couple hundred years and turning it into a weird Western. So if that's something that interests you, poke around. We'll be talking about it occasionally on Twitter and things like that.
Yeah. Oh my God, that picture. Simon, your turn. With sewer, in which I can never read that name the right way again.
That's it. We've spoiled the name forever. Hi, I'm Simon at Wondering_DM on Twitter, Wondering DM on Twitch. Thank you everyone for having me. It's super fun to play a Witcher. I rarely get to play this game that I love a lot. So Yay, you were all fantastic, and I had a blast. That said, I am going to hop onto my channel for the finale of Vampire the Masquerade. And then later this afternoon for CouchCon, we have a panel and a game at 5 p.m. It's the panel we open on a stormy night, trope familiarity and genre savvy. And it's with you.
I forgot. I'm on that one. Yeah.
Yes. At 5. And then at 7 p.m. tonight, we're going to be playing a game of Brinkwood, which is a mix of Dracula meets Robin Hood.
Mhm.
And we have a whole bunch of panels tomorrow as well. Be sure to check out the schedule for CouchCon. Otherwise, I stream basically almost every day of the week, normally at 8 p.m. Eastern. So come check us out. We play everything from The Witcher with Kelly to Dragon Age with Kelly. We also have a talk show called Stranded Your House, where if you have a project that you want to plug and also get a cartomancy reading for one of your OCs, this is kind of a mix of two things, both like a small divination session for one of your OCs, and then you also get to plug and talk about the project that the OC is from, whether it's a stream, a game, a podcast, or anything in between. And you can also find me on Praxagorathus Mephorius channel in the morning around 11 a.m., where we do cold reads of plays. We've done a lot of Shakespeare so far. I have died countless times. But it's also great fun. And if you want to participate, you can just send her a message on Twitter.
Okay.
That's it from me.
And Shauna.
Hey, oh god, this is so much fun. I've been wanting to play Witcher for a while, and it was great to play with all you wonderful people today. It was so much fun. But I'm Shauna, Flying Cirrus on Twitter. I do a lot of art for a lot of overlays for games and stuff. All that stuff's on there as well. For games, I usually put that on my Twitter, but especially on Encounter Roleplay on Mondays at 2 p.m. It's a Song of Ice and Fire game, The Crown Lens, and it's a delightful mess. There's so much stuff happening there.
Okay. And Kelly and
I was getting a
Aw.
bath, apparently. Hi, I'm Kelly at the Opera Geek on Twitter. You can catch me here. Well, not here. This is not Simon's channel. Oh, God. You can catch me on Simon's channel on Tuesdays playing Witcher, not playing... Thanks, buddy. Not playing Triss, but actually playing a Witcher. And on Thursday, attempting to not have my sassy dwarf get thrown out of windows on the Dragon Age game. Wednesdays, I also stream. Currently, I'm doing what we're calling Queens of the Valley, where cartographer extraordinaire Devin Rue and I play Stardew Valley and make a lot of really bad jokes. And I think that's all I'm doing. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled. I have some ideas. I might be recording some more singings, possibly. What is that? I promised. Toss a coin to your Witcher, oh Valley of Plenty, oh Valley of Plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your Witcher, oh Valley of Plenty. There you go.
Yeah, and Doug, your plugs.
My plugs are coming next week. I'm expecting to have a full head of hair. So next time you see me, I'll hopefully be looking more like Harrison Ford or something like that. I'm not doing all the same kind of amazing things that these lovely folks are. I don't do much live streaming, so this has been great fun for me. You can find me on Twitter at dcockle, or on Instagram on Doug Cockle, I think it is. And I just want to say thank you. I was not able to join this from the beginning, and Mustang, you made it possible. It was like, wow, she wrote this whole story and made it possible for me to hop in at the very end. So thank you very much. And Alex, Shauna, Jonathan, and Simon, of course. You guys made some fantastic characters. So much fun playing with you guys. Um, Kelly, again, you're a fabulous Triss. Thank you so much. So that's me plugged.
Well, actually, true. If we don't know right now because of everything going on, if by some magic this pandemic is lifted, you would see Doug and I at Empire Con in Albany, and I think Simon possibly. We don't. It's kind of up in the air right now. It's in July. We don't know. But if so, it looks like you might have a live Witcher game happening at the convention.
Yeah. Do you remember the dates for that, Kelly?
I don't remember.
It's yeah,
what
you can
date
look
is
it up
today.
online. Empire Con in Albany, New York, in July. So yeah, we'll have a live Witcher game. I think Jay from Artel Sorian is going to be there as well. I'm not sure in chat, so he'll tell you. July 11th. Thank you very much, Praxagora. There's also what is it called? AF Orlando.
Anime
AFO.
Fest Orlando. AFO.
Anime Fest Orlando, end of June. I'm still expecting to be there. I think Kelly was going to be there, but she doesn't know if she can be now.
No. It wasn't that I wasn't going to be there. It's that it's not announced yet, Doug.
Oh, Kelly wasn't going to be there. She has no idea what she's doing that weekend. She's going picnicking.
Oh no.
Oops.
While staying 6 feet away from everyone. But yeah, that's another one that's all, obviously all these convention appearances are up in the air with everything that's going on right now. But, a lot of them are also getting postponed. So all this cool stuff might still happen in the future. And if by some reason Orlando and Empire Con don't happen, I bet you that we could live stream another Witcher game for all of you.
Yeah.
So
I'll quickly go and then Alex can quickly go afterwards. But I'm Sarah, or Mustangs Art. I don't mind which. But you can find me on Twitter at Mustangs Art. I do a lot of disability advocacy in TTRPGs, talking about representation and doing homebrews, things like that. And I am the founder and a co-producer over at sister channel to Chromatic Chimera, Heroes Without Limits, which is also running some of the panels for this CouchCon. And it's all about making content by disabled, chronically ill, and neurodivergent people for them to enjoy and to see themselves represented, which doesn't happen a lot in mainstream media. And again, with the whole conventions being up in the air, I was supposed to go to the UK Games Expo this year. And I think it's been postponed, and then it's going to be another time. But I'm going there as a guest on one day to do a panel on disability representation in tabletop games, which is very interesting, and I'm very excited. But yeah, and in about 30 minutes, I'm jumping over to Heroes Without Limits to run another Witcher game. This one is set between the books and the games, just before it crosses over. So in this world, Geralt is dead still. Spoilers, but it is relevant to the plot. But so if you want
will do that to you.
But if you want to catch that, it's in 30 minutes over on Heroes Without Limits. And I will now pass to Alex, who has so kindly let me do a stream on his channel.
Well, of course, you're welcome. And thank you so much, Mustang, for having the game on here. It was actually the voice of God, Abby's idea that, Abby's like, I want Sarah's game on the stream. And I'm like, I think Sarah's going to want to do it on their own channel. And you said, yeah, you'd like to do it here. So thank you so much for bringing such a wonderful cast of people. And thank you for giving me the honor and the pleasure to play with all of these wonderful folks. I believe it's, besides me, everyone's first time playing on Chromatic Chimera. I'd gladly have you back anytime. So I'm Alex. I'm also known as Mr. Puddins. You can call me Puddins. Whatever, Alex. Either work. I'm kind of like the chief head producer type thing. I just call me Stream Daddy. So we do a lot of stuff here at Chromatic Chimera. We do D&D. We got other systems we play, like Kobolds Ate My Babies, The Excellence, Lancer, Age. And next week, on the 10th, on Friday, we are going to be starting up a City of Mist Powered by the Apocalypse game. And I'm going to be playing in that. Chris is going to be GMing that. I'm going to be playing as Dr. Abraham Van Helsing in that. So no shitty Brooklyn accent for that one. Also, I DM one of the chief games here called Steam Spell. It is a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition homebrew setting. I made the whole setting. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. It's like steampunk, dieselpunk meets fantasy. It pulls a little bit of stuff from The Witcher, I'll admit it, because how could you not? It's got that dark fantasy vibe to it sometimes. But CouchCon's going to be going on all weekend. We got all kinds of great events coming up. In about half an hour here, I'm going to be joining Stream BBEG Chris here, the GM who runs Agora's Bells. We're going to talk about what changes when you start playing and GMing on stream. What happens when you enter the digital stream, the digital stage. It's something that I don't see a lot of people talk about. So we figured it'd be something worth talking about. So it's going to be here. It's worth checking out. We got all kinds of great events coming up. And thank you to everyone who's donated so far. We're up to $630 for Doctors Without Borders. Your generosity, it's just, I cannot understate my gratitude. So thank you so much. And with that, again, thank you everyone for you. Great characters, great job, everyone. Yeah, it was great.
I will just quickly say, because I forgot in my plugs, that this month, I can't remember what day it's on. I don't think there's a day that's been said yet. But if you keep an eye on the Dragon Plus website for Wizards of the Coast, I was interviewed about disability in TTRPGs and D&D. So that will be coming up soon. And yeah, I will relentlessly be spamming it on Twitter to make people read it and sending it to people. But yeah, if you want to check out what I do, how you can make your games more accessible, and my experience as a disabled GM, then yeah, it's really interesting.
Hell yeah. So hit that follow button. Also worth mentioning, Simon's channel is also doing events for CouchCon. I believe he mentioned it, but I'm going to just reiterate, they're all Wandering DM's also doing all kinds of really cool events. Total Party Chill, Heroes Without Limits. They're all doing all kinds of cool events. So I suggest you check them out, and let's keep those donations coming in. Thank you so much, everyone.